So like all up in my face.
Yes.
Got it. That's
something women are used to.
Right?
Don't spit on it, please, because
be patient.
These all the time.
I wonder how much spit is on this.
Well, I switch them out.
Right? Sometimes you look at community dick and you're like, you think the same thing. Yeah, you're like, but what's how much spit is there? Yeah. Yeah, no, that ain't me. That ain't me.
Somebody was here. Yeah. You looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with Jonah. We talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you know this how we coming, we ain't front. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Get into that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get real. Welcome back, Barbershop Confidential, the podcast. Your boy Jonah. You already know. And today we have Tiffany in the house. Hello. Tiffany.
Woo-woo. Hello.
Looking all fresh or whatever.
Thank you.
I hate when they do that. They come dressed up and I'm like in like casual sweats. But you know what? It's your time to shine.
No, I want to be presentable for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I rock the black all the time. I figured floral is like my theme. That's like my brand with my business. And like it's gray, black and white.
Yeah,
so which is Raider colors. I'm like floral, I gotta go with.
But I'm going through shit.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
Not too much attention.
Yeah, like
not too much.
I mean, just a little on the cheeks, but that's good. My grandma had the best shirt, and I want to get it remade. It had 2 roses right here, and it said "Smell the roses."
You motorboat son of a bitch.
Dude, my grandma was crazy. I
Granny
love her.
was with it.
Granny would get down with the best of them.
I had a question. Are you Hispanic?
I am.
Oh, okay. Because Tiffany, throws you off a little
I know.
bit.
It's the first in the middle that people are like, God damn, she's so white. And then they hear Garcia and they're like, married?
Garcia.
Oh, Garcia. Yeah. Yes. Oh.
Is your husband
and right away they're like, right now they're like, oh, married?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And you know what's even funnier is that I got a white gardener.
So whose house you going to? The Garcias.
Right?
Oh, how the turntables have turned. So, Tiffany, you are you do?
Aesthetics. I'm an esthetician.
Okay.
Yes.
All
so
right.
I own my own business.
Look at you. Boss babe.
Thank you. Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Since December of 2019.
Oh, since right before COVID.
Yes, nailed
Talk
it.
about perfect timing.
Yeah, fucking amazing timing.
We were just talking. I was thinking about going to during the COVID. I was like, I think I'm gonna just go to barber school.
Yeah,
it didn't happen. So,
But can you make it happen in the future? Maybe if you want.
I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason. Bingo. I think I wanted it. Because it was like COVID, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But then maybe I don't want it.
Yeah.
And it would have sucked to go through all that and then
not even
come
utilize
out at the end
it.
like, I don't even want to do this
burnt.
shit.
Yeah, you're burnt. You're like, don't even utilize it. That's how I feel about my degree.
What do you have a degree
Fucking
in?
burn, baby, burn.
Keeps me warm at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Legal studies. I was actually going to be an attorney. I wanted to be an attorney my entire life. And I ended up going through a really bad custody battle with children. Even though I didn't want to practice family law, I actually wanted to do sports law because I love sports so much.
Oh, okay.
And it just, the whole system and going through it and realizing that one person isn't going to make a difference regardless of what practice you make. And I'm just not that kind of cutthroat person. Like, it's just...
Yeah, you have to be like low-key a piece of shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, like, here's the thing with me is that I don't need to manipulate any situation because the truth will come out. And if you just know how to use the truth and your words versus your fists, right? Oh, you can cut a motherfucker down quick. And that's the thing that people have to watch out about me is don't give me the words, because once I shoot them, they're like bullets and you can never take that shit back.
You know, it's funny. I'm the other way. I think silence does more than words can ever.
Oh, well, I'm silent because I'm thinking, but then,
right?
but then when you approach me, woo, you better have your facts straight. You better, because that attorney will come out real quick.
Yeah. Your Honor. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Real quick. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
On December 3rd.
Yeah.
2005.
Because I already know. I'm like, oh, yeah. Tell me that again. Oh yeah. I'm like a detective. I'll ask you the same question 5 different ways.
You're
and
like
you'll
a
be
DMV
like,
test.
what the fuck? Yeah. Like, here's
a DMV test is like,
for sure.
You cross this road, like, oh, that's easy. And it's the same question, just reworded. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You're like, wait, hold on. Make me think here. Yeah.
Once they start scratching their head, you got them.
Yeah.
Got them.
Done. I was actually just in the DMV the other day because my 17-year-old is trying to get her driver's license. That was a shit show, mind you. And we had an appointment. However, I did just that. I looked around at one point in time and I was like, I understand now why they hate their job. And I understand why this place is awful.
Awful.
Yeah. Absolutely awful. Oh, that guy's going to lose his shit now.
I think they should make it that if you go to the DMV to renew your plates, you don't have to pay because you went through that experience. Like, that's how bad it is. Like,
they should give us money.
Yeah. Like, here's $20 for dealing with us.
How long were you here and did you need parking validated?
Imagine if they started charging you for parking.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Especially off of Normal in, what is that one? Is it Hillcrest?
Oh, is that one bad?
That's the one that we went to. Go to Claremont. In, out, easy peasy, done. I've never had an issue there except for Jojo, my son, 20-year-old, failing his driver's test. But that's on him. Like, I have no control over that.
You're going to take Ubers?
But I can't help that you didn't listen to mom and fucking turn your head like I told you to, bitch. Like, turn your head.
He's failing the driving part?
He did the first go round, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with this generation, but they do not want to drive. They're lazy as fuck.
Fuck.
Dude, like if you're choosing not to drive and you're gonna date, like you better just know.
Yeah.
Because if I'm dating, first of all, I wouldn't date you. Like, I'm not gonna lie. First of all, I wouldn't date you.
Like, no car?
Yeah.
No draws.
Yeah. Sorry. No panties. Sorry,
but you know, you can get away with it with Uber. You're just gonna be like, oh, in case we have a drink, you know, I want to be responsible. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then I start figuring shit out real quick. And I'm like, boo boo, where's your car? We want to go to Julian. Oh, we can't.
He's like, well, you know, let's lift it. You know, that spiced apple pie might be spiked.
It's gonna be so good. We can eat it on the way back.
Yeah, like wait, no, that's funny though. No car, no date,
no car, no dice.
No dice.
Like none. I'm good. So he failed and then he redid it and he passed. But he had no desire to get his driver's license until he graduated high school.
Oh, I mean,
I was the fucking Uber. Like, I was the Lyft.
Listen,
like,
do your mom duties and take your kids everywhere, please.
I felt at one point in time I really did need to slap a sticker on the side of my car that said taxi. Like, I really did. At one point,
start charging them.
At one point, I mean, there was between baseball and softball and gymnastics and cheer and this and that and that. I'm just like, I live by the square. That's what I tell everybody. The calendar square, you know, I live by the square because I have to look at my calendar every day by the hour to know what the fuck I'm doing. Where do I need to be today? At what time? That's why we're texting and communicating. I'm like, okay, we need to be very clear. Where am I going? Do I need to drop a fucking air tag on me? Like,
I never think about that because like women come here.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just like oblivious to them. Like, but like, I'm not going to do nothing.
No.
I'm not putting myself in their position. Like, you're a stranger.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because you don't mean any ill will. Yeah. Like, you don't mean any harm. You know what I'm saying? But like nowadays, like, you don't fucking know. You can't trust anybody. Like, I trust nobody. I trust myself.
Yeah.
Everybody in my lifetime has disappointed or hurt me in some way or another since birth. So I've literally...
I'm gonna do it too because I want to keep your life consistent, you know? I'm just like...
Fucking great. We're on a great...
One more lesson.
You know what? But we're on a great friendship here because you're being honest with me. So we're starting
That's
somewhere.
the words right here. This is like, I'm gonna ruin you, and you're like, well, at least they're on this shit.
Yeah, please don't ruin my life.
Yeah, right.
Please
don't do that.
Please don't do that.
No.
That would be very uncool and unkind of you.
Yeah, right? It's not
Right?
in my nature.
Right? But what did you say earlier? I'm going to circle it back to you. Silence is golden.
Silence is golden.
See?
Yeah.
See? Silence
That's
is golden.
definitely my thing.
Oh, yeah. I shut down. Like,
you can do something, I'll observe,
Yep.
and then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
God gave
My
you
silence-
2 ears and 1 mouth and
Yeah.
2 eyes, and I observed the fuck out of you.
I'll be like, okay, noted.
Oh, boom. Thank you. Noted. That's what
Noted,
I say.
and it's like,
Noted. Thank you. Duly noted. That's what I say.
my silence will let you know how
Mm-hmm.
how we'll be moving forward
Right?
accordingly.
And I see this. I see how you move now.
Yeah.
I'm watching you. You're on notice. Smile and wave. Smile and wave.
You know what's funny is when people move funny,
Mm.
and so you're like, okay.
Oh, but then
if-
they blame you for moving funny. And I'm like, no, I'm just
Yeah.
reacting to
yeah,
you.
like, oh, is that's how we're gonna move? Then that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Let me know how to slide,
Let me know.
slippity slide. Let
What's
me
the-
know. Let
what's
me
the
know.
dance?
Let me know. I could do that
Yeah.
dance.
And then
I
they're
know
like,
it.
oh, you're moving. Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
am I?
am I?
All right.
All right.
Is that how you feel?
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I see you.
yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. Do you speak Spanish?
Do not.
Do not.
I took 3 years. and
Tiffany.
you- I know all
I'm
the
not
bad
spelling
words.
your name. Let me
I know,
bleep all that.
right. Here's my blood sample. Here's my firstborn child.
Please leave your social right there.
Right? Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I grew up actually with my mom, who is French Dutch, and
So she's the white one.
she's the white one. And my dad is the Hispanic one. So I did not grow up with any of that side. He actually kept me hidden. Honey, Poppy was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, he had other kids.
Oh.
King behavior.
That is not king behavior.
If we're being technical,
That is page behavior.
if we're being technical, kings used to do that.
Oh, for sure.
So.
For sure. But that is not the king that we want
No, no,
today,
no.
right?
No.
And I don't even want a king.
Right.
I want an emperor
Oh,
because I'm an empress.
most of them were gay.
Yeah.
If we do a little history on that.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, whatever floats your boat, boo.
Right.
But like, I won't be touching that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're gonna have to call somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ain't my area.
Handle that.
Yeah. Handle that business.
Yeah. So he denied you?
Yeah, so
From, like, his family,
yeah.
or-
Well, no. Okay, so he, from my understanding, this is my understanding. I am like the youngest, but now we think that there's a boy younger than me. But technically, right now, I'm going to say I'm the youngest. Out of I think 9 from
No.
4 women.
Oh, he was out here.
Oh. Wilding out. The Mexicans, they know how to roll.
He was one of those hang
Yeah.
rappers.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I was not a prodigy of love. I was a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, like type of thing, which is cool because I'm here and I'm thankful. But that's how I say, like, I wasn't even brought into this world with like love in me, genuine love. And so all the love that I have and that I give, it's because I was denied from day one. And like, that's all I know in my
could've gone the other
heart.
way, though.
It could have went the other way. And I tell my kids that all the time. Like, I could be so resentful and I could be so hateful for everything that's happened in my life from day one. And I choose to look at that and turn it and spin it to a positive because it's not worth it. That's where the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I'd rather chop it up as a lesson learned and move on because I want to try to be the best version of myself always.
Oh, look at
And
that.
that's not harping on that shit, right?
That's like a good head on your shoulders.
Oh, for sure.
Because most, it goes the other way. They hold this like resentment. Hate.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Did you ever meet him?
I did. I met him for the first time when I was 15. And so, funny story about that. So I actually had called him up. I had family in Chino Hills and I said, hey, listen, I didn't give him a choice. I said, listen, I'm going to be in Chino for Thanksgiving and I want to meet you. So you're going to have to come get me and we're going to have a discussion. Like, this is been too long. Like, you have been pen paling me for fucking years. Like, let's like just make this happen. Right. And so he did. He came in, he picked me up, and funny enough, he actually took me to my older brother. His name's William. And the minute that I met my brother, it was like I looked at him and I was like, I'm him with tits. Like, this me. Like, this is me right here. Like, the connection and the bond that we had was incredible from the moment that we met each other, even to ordering, like, on the menu, we went to Carl's Jr. and he got the double bacon Western and I got the regular bacon Western, but we both looked at each other and were like, What the fuck?
Extra patty.
Right? I was like, okay, 4x4 at In-N-Out over there. Like
carnivore.
Right? Okay, you like your meat. I like my meat too, but like Jesus Christ. Like so we ended up bonding and we connected. And my brother and I, to this day, we are like this. I actually was just talking to him earlier, and we've only seen each other a handful of times. I actually lived with him for a short, brief time. He was going through kind of a weird thing with like his chick at the time, and I was kind of in transitioning from when I moved from Fresno. I drove, so that's a whole nother story. So I left, quit both my jobs. I didn't even cash my check. I had $25 to my name, but I had a full tank of gas and my Honda full of clothes, and I just fucking drove. I had no idea where I was going. I went south.
And stopped where? LA?
And I got lost on the 101. And it was like 2:00 in the morning in Studio City, like North Hollywood area. And I pulled over at a 7-Eleven off of Coldwater Canyon and the fucking payphone, because my cell phone had died. It was like the old blue Nokia, like
little brick.
The little, yeah, exactly. Died. And so before it had died, I was actually smart. I wrote down a couple numbers of people that I knew that had lived in the area. And I had a buddy that was going to DeVry at the time. And I knew that he lived in that pocket somewhere. And so I called him on the payphone, and he's like, stay right there. You're like a block away from me. Like, I'll come get you. And I'm like, okay, cool beans, So he's like, he comes and gets me. He's like, are you hungry? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, where are we going to go? It's 2:00 in the morning. He's like, actually, I know a place around the corner. It's called Jerry's Famous Deli. Just, come with me. And I said, okay. So we go in there, and Jerry's Famous Deli in Studio City is actually right down the street from all of the studios, like Paramount, MGM, okay. So everybody that films there, movies, like TV shows or whatever, they go there because it's open 24/7. And so we sat in a booth and we talked, and he's like, what the fuck happened? And I'm telling him the story and stuff. And the whole time the manager's just kind of like listening in on the conversation. And at the very end, he comes over and he slips a application on the table.
Slid in your DM.
And he's like, yeah, right, back in the day, slipped an application in. And he's like, we're hiring if you're interested. Do you have any experience? And I was like, yeah, actually, I just worked at a restaurant, blah, 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 and told him a couple, some information. He's like, okay, we'll just fill it out and, we'll kind of go from there. And I was like, okay. So I fill it out and turn it in, we pay the check. And as we're leaving, he goes, oh, can you start tomorrow?
Oh, damn.
Fucking hired me on the spot. In 3 months, I had a studio apartment all by myself. I had a brand new Honda Accord. I was making bank. Like, I would work double shifts. I'd work like a dinner shift at that restaurant because these people,
it's 24 hours.
24 hours. And when I'm telling you, like, the cast of the 70s show came in every night after filming and would sit in the same round booth. They were my clients. Like, they were my customers. They would come in, and like, it's crazy to know what I know now about the cast of the 70s show. Like, that one guy's going through, like, allegedly, right? Like, allegedly. There's the attorney coming out.
Accusations.
They're just the speculations.
No proof.
We don't know. We weren't there.
That one's weird though.
Right?
You don't expect it from these, like, the ones that keep popping up. You're like, wow, really?
Right? Right. But then it doesn't surprise me, because then I like go back and I'm like, interesting.
Managers at Kinko's used to do it, like, you think an actor is not gonna use their position. Right?
Come on. I
mean, I get it.
Come on. I actually was in a really awkward situation with that, actually, while I was working at that restaurant. I had a talent scout agent guy, like, trying to poach me, and he used to come in all the time. And finally I caved and I went to his office to go have a meeting, like a formal meeting. No, it was like a legit, like, I'm like, whatever he did, he was high ranking. His office was huge. Like, I'm talking like he was some sort of a VP of something. And I remember I had his business card, but I was like, okay, it's like legit, This is before you can Google shit, obviously. This is 2001. Like,
wow.
That's why, like, let me put a timeline on it real quick. 2001.
I know you guys thinking she's like 20.
I know. I have a 20-year-old. I have a kid half my age. So I went to his office, and unfortunately I was young and dumb at the time, and I went by myself, and it made me really uncomfortable. And I will tell you, to anybody listening, follow your gut intuition. Like, go with your instinct. What does it tell you? Don't ever go against it. Like, just like when you're fucking sanding wood, don't ever go against the grain, right? Yeah. Like, I know all about that. Anyways, he was just very awkward with me, and then it triggered when he was asking me, like, well, what do you see, like, longevity with your career and stuff? And I'm like, well, what do you see? And he's like, well, I really see, like, this Jennifer Aniston, like, clean cut girl next door look, and I'd like to play off that. But then I kind of want to see, like, this playboy, like, and I'm just like,
That's a jump.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, totally different worlds at that time. Like, no, same. But it's because I have always been so very like conservative and reserved, but you can see that I have curves and you can see that I have a body. And so I think that's where it leaves it to the imagination, where he was kind of like
I
fishing.
need to see what's underneath.
Well, he's fishing too. Like, will she go that route? Because then your career you're opening the doors in a very different direction. And if you listen to the women with the Harvey Weinstein thing, they have said that they've taken certain roles knowing that could open a different door, but it also opens a different door. Yeah. So once you walk through it, there's no take backs. Yeah. There's no take backs. So then it got weird. He was like, well, here, just walk and talk with me. And I'm just like, okay. So we're like talking and we're walking. And then I realized like we're in the fucking parking garage and like he's popping his trunk. And I'm like, whoa. Like, damn. It was like his car was way over there and I was way the fuck over here, because I was like, bitch, you are not going to hit me upside the head and put me in that fucking trunk.
Right?
If that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what went through my head.
You're about to be a victim.
Right? I was like, oh, you will not see me on fucking 2020. Absolutely not. I will not be one of those episodes.
Of a milk carton.
No, no good sir.
Did he like?
So at that point, he just kind of like, I think he was feeling me out too, because you can tell. I mean, I was like some feet away from him. Like I did not approach the car. My back was up against one of the pillars. I'm smart. Like I'm street smart. You know, like I'm not dumb. You know, I grew up in Fresno. Like, come on.
Head on a swivel.
Right? Like, hello. Yes, thank you. And so I don't remember exactly how the conversation ended, but I just remember like positioning myself so that he couldn't like overpower me, and then getting back into his office and just leaving him my contact information and saying, well, I'll see you when you come in the restaurant and stuff. And I did. I saw him when he came in the restaurant, and he would still kind of talk to me, but it was like in front of people and like kind of like for show, but like he never actually reached out, which I was like, thank God, because that's not.
I think it's clear what he wanted.
Oh, for sure. You know? And so I'm just like, it ain't going to work out.
It's not cool.
It's not cool.
It's cool.
Not cool, but it's cool. So so they, above Jerry's Famous Deli, they actually had a bowling alley built above.
Oh, wow.
And people would go and they'd bowl and they'd throw parties. And so I became one of the hostess for the parties. And I actually did the birthday party for the girl. You know, the parents that started the Full House Mom and her husband, Massimo, that were involved in the college scandals.
Oh, yes.
Allegedly. No, but not allegedly. No,
you kind of look like her a little bit. And was it Rachel? No, Becky.
And Becky. Yeah. Bless her heart.
She was just trying to help her.
She was just trying to help her kid out. Her kid didn't know what the fuck rowing was. Yeah. She's like, what? What do I do? What do I need to do?
Money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't even want to go to school. Okay. How'd that work out for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually hosted her daughter's birthday party.
That
daughter's birthday party. I think I don't know how.
Accomplice FBI. Round her up.
Right? And they tipped me $800.
Oh shit.
That's what I'm saying. So like I was making money. Like every night when I would walk in my tips alone, because I worked the dinner shift and then I'd work the graveyard shift, which is the drunken hour in fucking Hollywood, right? I would walk with no less than $600 to $700 a night, and on a bad night. On a bad night.
That's straight.
Oh, it was, I mean, that's why I said I got a studio. I got a brand new car. Like I was living a different, I was 18. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Partying in the Hollywood Hills, like doing all the dues. Living
all
life.
The fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, I got drugged by a bartender that tried to take advantage of me. Oh yeah. That date rape drug. Yeah.
The roofie?
Yep.
How was that?
Yeah. Oh my God. That was,
was it unsuccessful, hopefully?
Oh, totally unsuccessful.
Okay, that's good.
Totally. So I was at this nightclub, right? Obviously I'm young. I shouldn't even be there, but I got snuck in. And so the building, it was a pool, an indoor pool, and it was like open, I guess, all the way around, like 3 stories where you can look down into the pool. So they emptied out the pool, and that was actually where the DJ and the bar and the dance floor was in the pool. And so the nightclub was also around it, right? And so we're in the pool and, you know, I'm hanging out at the bar and the bartender's like, hey, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And young and dumb, he gives me a fucking free drink and I'm like, sweet, right? And he's like, well, what are you doing afterwards? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm the one that drove.
Like, I know.
Yeah. He's like, I know, girl. I know. I'm doing you.
Yeah. I'll be holding your hair back.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah. And so he was like, he kept trying to get me to go with him, and I kept telling, like, after the club closed, he's like, hey, just come with me, like, back, you know, and have somebody else like drive your car or whatever and follow, and we're gonna have this after party and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. And so I'm looking at my friends and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go, like, that's my car, like, I don't want anybody driving my fucking brand new car, like, first of all, like,
it's not even the possibility of rape, girl. Like, nobody's driving my car.
Nobody is driving my car. Like, I worked really hard for this. Like, 18, young and dumb, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, and so I end up bullshitting with them, and I'm like, hey, listen, just give me the address. You know, we're gonna be there. The girls aren't comfortable, you know, type of thing. And we ended up going back to another girl's house. And by the time we got there, got our pajamas on, sat on the floor, that's when it hit me. And it would have been just enough time to like wait for him to like be done, go with him, be in his car. And then at that point, like, I don't know what the fuck would have happened. Like, it was just that amount of time. And put it this way, I could hear and understand and acknowledge everything that was happening around me, but I couldn't physically move. Oh no, I was like this.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was really like...
But you know what's going on?
You know what's going on. You're totally aware. My girlfriends were freaking out. They're like, Tiffany, are you okay? And I'm just like, I want to take a shower. Like, I just need to take a shower. They're like, okay. And they're like, they just thought I was drunk.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, what the fuck did she drink? And the one girl's like, she only drank the one Long Island. And like, I could drink. Like, I used to be able to drink, right? And so I knew that like, it wasn't what I drank. It was what I drank, right? Like, and so I ended up getting in the shower. And the only thing that I remember after that was... they came, it was totally fuzzy, fucking blurry. I was laying in the bottom of the tub with the shower running on me. I'm surprised I didn't like suffocate, drowned, like basically, because I'm like this, you know, on the tub floor. And they come in, they get me, they turn off the water. I don't know how long I was in there for. I was in there for a hot minute.
Damn.
Like a hot minute. And I locked the door. So like they were pounding on it. They come out, they get me. I remember just being obviously totally naked, them pulling me out of the tub, putting me on the floor, and just my one friend putting their face up against my chest to make sure that I was breathing, because I was just like, so there was no life in me, like no life in me. And so the one girl ended up sleeping on my chest all night long just to make sure that I didn't stop breathing.
What's scary about that is that you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like if you would have been getting
and I couldn't even verbalize it. That's what I'm saying.
You would have felt like
I couldn't yell. I couldn't speak. Like I just completely, I was like this, like, oh my God, like what, like that's scary. It was the most scariest that I've ever actually consumed something that I had absolutely zero control over myself whatsoever. And that's a scary thought. It's a really scary thought. And so I'm like fucking mama bear when it comes to like shit like that. Like I'm just like, don't let anybody give you drinks, like, you know, blah, blah, like always keep it with you, like wherever you go, like, you know, and thank God my son doesn't drink. You know, we all have our poison and he likes to smoke. And so, and he was open and he was honest with me and he told me that. And I knew that he was going to be just like mom. I knew it. I knew. I was like one pothead to another. Like,
I smell those nuggets.
I smell you out. I sniff you out, boy. I got you. But it's more so, I think, because my children did witness alcoholism with their real dad and then their stepdad, that just, they're like, we don't want any part of that, you know, like I'm good off of that. So, which is a blessing in disguise, right? So Hollywood was crazy.
And how long were you in Hollywood for?
I stayed there for, I want to say a little over a year, because then my brother that was in Whittier, he was going through what he was going through. And I didn't like the situation that I was with. There was not good people. Just not good people. There was this guy that just like constantly thought that like he was gonna have his way with me. And the straw that broke the camel's back is when he slammed me up against a wall to kind of like demand like, you will fuck me one day. Yeah. Yeah.
That's aggressive.
Oh yeah.
I had told before that I knew a girl who likes that.
Yeah, totally great. Great.
But I would like tell her like, I don't think a dude should try to like rape you with the off chance you enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like it's
a little deep.
Yeah.
It's a little dark.
Communicate that shit.
Yeah, right?
But that's like slam you. I mean, you're a small girl too. So
yeah, exactly. And
small woman.
Thank you. And so, he's, I was walking on my way to work down the hall and he just...
Oh, a coworker.
No, actually a fellow resident.
Oh, in the apartments. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And just completely just kind of slam me. And I'm a flirt, right? But like, I'll also check you like at a certain point and let you know that you're friend zone. I have no problem with doing that, like at all, and he knew that, like we cool, don't push it. And he pushed it and he got real aggressive. And I think it's because he was spun out on whatever it was that he was spun out on, which I don't fuck with that. Like weed, I'm good. I don't do anything else. Like I'm cool with it. I don't need to do anything else. Well, it obviously took him to the limit. He showed his true colors.
His penis?
And no,
because you want like that.
No, right? No, he showed his true colors of who he was, and it just was a complete turnoff. And after that, it got very awkward and uncomfortable as far as living situation. And so I was like, I gotta go. Like I need to go. Like I can't like be here, right?
It's only gonna get worse.
It's only gonna get worse. And so my brother offered to take me in, and he's like, hey, if you want to stay here for a little bit, just know that it's in Whittier. And so I did that commute from Whittier to Studio City every single day.
How long is that? Because I'm not familiar.
Oh, God.
Is it more because of traffic too?
I would say it's the equivalent of San Diego to probably Orange County.
God damn. That's a drive.
Every day.
Nah, that's too much.
Every day. But the money was good. And that's the thing. The money was good.
And you weren't being sexually assaulted.
And I yeah.
So that's a dub.
Right. There's a win. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't going to last very long. And also I started thinking about like my future and like, should I go back to school and what does that look like and all the things. And so, I ended up meeting at that time my older two's dad through a work friend so I ended up still working there, but like working at Islands at the same time in Fullerton because I was like trying to make that transition over. And I met her and then I got a job working as a legal secretary for an attorney in Irvine. And one day we're at lunch and we were in Newport and the girl that I was with is like, oh, let's go to Hooters. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I've never been there. Like, let's go. Yeah. And so we walk in and they were just like, it was under construction. It hadn't opened yet. Oh. And so the guy up in the railing, he's like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're looking to eat. And he's like, oh, we're not open yet, but are you looking for a job?
He's like, because I see.
Yeah. He's like, but are you looking for a job? Yeah. And she's like, yeah, she's like, fuck yeah. She's like, yeah. And I was like, I already got 2 jobs. Like I got 3 jobs that now I go to that one like every once in a while, but I go to this one in Fullerton and I got this one that I go to every day. Like, I don't need any more jobs. Like, I'm good, right? So he's like, oh, just fill out an application. Like, you never know. We'll just keep it on file. I was like, okay, fuck yeah. Okay, whatever. Like, here you go, right? He ended up calling me back and hiring me and not hiring her.
Oh, that's fucked up. He saw what happened.
Which she wasn't mad about it. She was like, you have the bigger boobs, Tiff. Like I'm not going to be mad at you. I was
you
like,
were a Hooter girl too.
So I was Hooters of Newport Beach. And I ended up becoming a traveling trainer with them. So I opened up different locations and I was actually training to be a general manager for them. So I was working my up through the rankings and I bartended for them. It actually opened up a lot of doors for me. I worked for Playboy and Maxim.
Oh shit. Doing what?
Yeah, bartending.
Oh, bartending.
Bartending. Oh, nice. Yeah, bartending. So in Newport, we were, in the harbor, and we had our own dock. And so the little Playboy yacht would come up all the time, and they would dock with us, and they would come in, and they would actually take us girls and go out, and we would go out to sea, and we would, bartender, we would serve or whatever for them. And so I used to do that quite a bit. And so from there, I got offered to bartend for Maxim Magazine Super Bowl party in 2002 when they were down here in San Diego, when it was the Raiders versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck yeah, that's my team. Absolutely, I'm going to do it. And that was an amazing experience, actually. Yeah, so opened the doors, in many different ways. And then I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and I worked through maternity, and all that. And then I decided once I went back, they had already given Anaheim location was opening. That was the next location. And I obviously couldn't go through like the training because I'm pregnant, And so they gave the location away to one of my fellow girlfriends that I worked with, and she did an amazing job with it. Incredible. Great decision on their part. And so I decided to kind of hang up my shorts at that time. I was like, you know what? I'm a mom.
A little shorts up.
Yeah, like I'm just right here. It doesn't take much hanging because it's, it's just a little bit.
Thumbtack.
Little bit, yeah. Here's my orange ones. Here's my black ones. Here's my camo ones.
I have questions.
Yeah.
Because, you've heard stories that hoodoo girls were being like sexually harassed, and some of the hoodoo girls were
allegedly
like, sleeping with allegedly sleeping with like the managers.
Yes, that is accurate. I can tell you what I know from my location and what I saw at other locations traveling, that yes, the manager girl thing did definitely happen. There was definitely favoritism. There was definitely all the things. As far as the harassment goes, I actually never witnessed that. And it's the same thing like when like the documentary came out about Hugh Hefner and the Playboy and the mansion and the this and all that. That was happening on the boat, but I was really, the girls that I worked with, they knew that I was pregnant, and they were amazing. I didn't show until I was 8 months pregnant, by the way. So I was able to like work.
Every pregnant girl right now.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, it was also my first, guys. It was also my first. So like, give me that. I was a soccer player. Like I was in shape, like all the things, right? And then all of a sudden, literally one day I woke up and I went to go roll over, and I was like, what the fuck? Like it just like came out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God. Like
you knew you were pregnant,
no,
though, right?
I was pregnant. I knew I was right. But he was chilling in my back the whole time.
Oh.
He liked the backage.
Okay.
He liked, so I got a bad back now. I got to like literally, yeah, right. No, all my kids, they fucked up my back. Like I'm 40 and literally by like 8:15, I'm like fucking activate heating pad. Like
no wonder you wanted to do it like so early.
Yeah.
Like, my heating pad's waiting for me.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we gotta I gotta go. Like
bedtime at 6:30.
I gotta see the 9:15 weather, and once I see the weather, like I'm done. I'm shutting it down.
Yeah.
So.
Damn, so I think, and I'm thinking like maybe it wasn't harassment because like the girls kind of knew this like
so
that is pro quo, like,
so I'm gonna say my 2 cents on this is just my opinion, right? You know what you're getting into when you get hired, right? You do know that
you will be sexualized.
You will be correct.
Yeah.
That is a part of the job. Look at the outfit.
Yeah, little shorts.
Look at the outfit.
Titties out.
Look at it's Hooters. Like, let's think about that concept for a second, right? How you carry yourself and how you act, right? If you're gonna throw yourself out there and act thirsty, people are gonna treat you that way, right?
Yeah.
If you carry yourself in a different manner and you respect your own self, they will actually respect you. I had only had one time where somebody disrespected me, and I turned around and I put him in his place real quick. And I'll tell you what, that shut that table up real quick, and that was a $150 tip.
Oh, is that a table?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, what do you have on tap? And I said, oh, we have blah, 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 right. Do you have milk on tap?
Oh my God. At least be creative, my boy. Do you have milk on tap?
I mean, that's creative. I got to give him that, though.
You think that's creative?
I think
just on that, it's like, okay, yes, I have big tits. Like, I get it.
Right? Yeah. Like, I mean, surface level, like, okay, you're funny. I'll give that to you. Now, what do you want to fucking order? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, I mean, it was so distasteful and like so uncalled for. And like,
it wasn't like funny enough to make you laugh.
No, exactly.
You're
like,
just like,
because I'll be the first one to drop a fucking dirty joke. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do that. You don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm across from barbers, and half the time I make them blush. Like, they're like, fuck, did she just say that? And I'm like, that's right, she did. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what she said. So anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about.
Oh, the girls at Hooters.
Yeah, I was fortunate that they really blocked me from that. Like, you know, what was going on the Playboy boat, like, you know, snorting lines up, you know, they just put me in a different section. They're just like, Mama Tiff, go down here. Like, Mama Tiff, go over here, or whatever. They took care of me.
No, you don't need to see this.
Yeah, you don't need to see this. You don't need to be a part of that. And it's not because I would judge, because I never judge, like, ever, but it's because I just didn't need to be around it. Like, and that meant to me that they really respected me, and I appreciated that. And I'm to this day, super grateful for those women for doing that.
That's cool of them.
Yeah, because not all women are like that.
No.
You know, not all women are like that.
They want to corrupt the good ones.
Right? But they knew that I was there for the right reason. Like, I was there to go somewhere in management to make a difference, right? Because at that time, there wasn't too many women that were general managers at the time, especially being that young.
And you would have probably been a favorite just because you're a woman manager, and they don't have to deal with, like, you know, the manager doing with this little comment.
For sure. And not only that, but they know that I would go to bat for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're one of them.
Because I'm one of them, because I came from the trenches. Like, I know what that's all about. And, like, I have no problem with telling somebody to fuck off. Like, not acceptable behavior.
That's cool.
So I've had a pretty interesting life from there. I decided to continue into the legal sector and worked for a couple different attorneys throughout Orange County, and then finally got a job position offered to me through the County of San Bernardino Public Defender's Office out in the high desert.
Oh, wow.
Not that I wanted to go to the high desert, because it's a fucking hellhole. That is like Fresno #2, right? But it's for a job. And I had kids at the time now. I had 2 kids. So, and they were little.
At the time?
Yes and no, because I was in the process of transitioning, because the father was very abusive, and it's just like, that's not acceptable. Like, that's not okay, you know?
I'm sorry you went through that.
No, it's made me who I am today, right? And the sad thing is that it never goes away, and we'll talk about why it doesn't go away in the future, because now with my 17-year-old daughter, it's like all of that is finally going to come to being talked about, and it's never been talked about before. And so it's going to be huge, because my kids have like this, I can't say my kids, my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter has this like really fucked up warped perception of who she thinks that I am, because of what she has been told over the years by the people that hate me, which is the real dad, you know. And I went through a terrible... I didn't know that was a
thing. And I had a guest, shout out to her, and she was in a relationship like that. Like, he was abusive, and he got her sons
manipulated and turned
to like
turn against her. Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that was like a thing.
It's a real thing. So I am actually, unfortunately, going through that literally right now as we speak, because my high level overview, 6.5 year relationship with the kid's dad, right? Basically right out of like 19 years old, and ended the relationship at 25, right? And then went into another relationship of 15 years. And so if you think about it, do the math on that, right? I'm 40, 15, 6, like my whole adult life, I've been with 2 men that have abused me in a way differently. Like, one was very physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And the other one is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And so it's like, I run the gamut, right? Yeah. And so I now have experienced it both prongs. And so I did my due diligence as a mom when my children were younger, and stepdad was like, whoa, I'm just stepdad. Like, this is you. I'm not going to discipline. Like, mind you, we're not married, right? So I get that. Like, I respect the fact that you don't want to come in because it is not your place, right? I totally get that, right? So I did the foundation for my children as far as manners and being respectful and being productive members of society and knowing right from wrong. Like, you don't talk to mom that way. You don't treat mom that way. Like, we don't do that. We respect elders, yada, yada. You know the basics, right? You set that foundation. And then they become teenagers or they become adolescents, right? And you're like, okay, I'm hoping that I instilled what it is that I needed to instill in them so that they know right from wrong and they can make the right decisions, because at some point that clock is going to tick and I don't have a revolving door. Birdie's going to have to leave the nest.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually. I ended up from the legal sector. I ended up going and working in corporate retail. And I worked for some really big heavy hitters and I worked my way up. At that point, like, I kind of, it allowed me to take a step back and reevaluate like where I even wanted to be. Like, I had been in that cutthroat environment for 12 years and like working my way up the corporate ladder. And like, what am I doing? Like, my work-life balance isn't great. Like, my relationship is fucking garbage right now. Like, what am I doing? Right. And I just had the baby. And so
the 6-year-old?
The 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And so dad now comes to me and he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like, we're good financially. Like, I make what I make. Like, we're good. Like, just be that stay-at-home mom, you know, like, hang out with the kids, like, enjoy life. Like, let's just, you know. And I'm like,
where's the hidden camera?
Is this a trick? Right? Like, right? Is this funniest home videos? Like, what is this punked? Is this punked?
Ashton.
Is this punked? What's happening here? Right? So like, I'm like, hold on. Because as a woman that has literally worked since age of 15 and I've had multiple jobs and have gotten to the point where I had gotten in my career and I never had to like ask for money or hand it. Like, I want to go get my hair done. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, my pride and my ego, I was like, can I do this? Like, I don't know that I can do this, but like, he's reassuring me that like my life isn't going to change and I'm not high maintenance. So, okay, like, I'm going to entrust that this is the right move, right? Like, the universe is making this happen for a reason. 9 months later, I was signing up for aesthetic school and I didn't tell anybody until I was like, orientation is on this day. So, deuces.
Did you tell him?
That's how he found out.
Oh. He's like, where you going? What is all that? Yeah. You're like, going to class, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he was fucking livid.
Why though?
Oh my God.
I don't know him and I don't know guys like that. Like, I'm not one of those. So like, I imagine it's like a control thing.
It is very much a control thing. And I'll tell you why. Because now rewind 12 years earlier, when I got laid off from Charlotte the first time, I had 6 months before I found my next job, right? And I took that time. It was the summertime. Like, I was reevaluating everything. I was trying to figure out, like, do I want to go back to school? Like, what do I want to do? I wanted to be an attorney, I told you. Like, I had already went back and got my bachelor's. And so do I continue down that path and actually, like, get my JD? Like, what does that look like, right? And so the clock was ticking and I'm like, okay, well, my unemployment is going to run out. Like, I got to figure something out, right? Like, nobody's calling me. Like, I've had interviews. So I went and signed up for fucking cosmetology school, because at the time, in order to do aesthetics, you actually had to go through the whole program because they didn't have it separate. And at the time, I didn't know, like, I'm not really, like, I don't really want to do hair, but I want to cut, right? Like, I did barbering, I told you, for my friends when I was younger. And so I'm like, do I want to cut? Like, what does that look like? But I kind of like skin. Like, it's kind of my passion. I've always been into that. Like, even though my mom was like, fucking, here's some cocoa butter and here's some fucking baby oil. And like, no, we don't need sunblock. Like, what do you mean? And like, now I'm like, like, when people are like, oh, I don't use sunblock, I'm like, like, I'm melting. I'm like, shh, don't talk to me.
Don't say dirty things like that.
I'm like, that's not even dirty. That's just cruel. Like, that's like, dirty is like, I'm going to bend you over and I'm going to, like, that's dirty. Like, I didn't wear sunblock today and it's fucking 110 or it's overcast. I'm like, those UVA, B, and D. Oh my God.
That shit is like serious because
it's serious.
Because
Totally
I drive
serious.
all day. So
yeah, left hand, left arm, left side, everything on the left.
And my arm was getting like mad dark, and
yes.
I was like, "Fuck, that shit looks."
So protect.
So now I use sunblock.
Yes, protect. Thank you. Please do it on your face too. It's everything on the left hand side. And FYI, your windows, even if it's tinted, they don't reflect what it is that they need to reflect. They actually enhance. And like most pilots and shit like that, they look way older than if you ever really pay attention, you would never really probably guess a real pilot's age because they're up in elevation. Think about it. They're closer to the sun. That shit is hitting them dead ass. And it's like, do you think hey, Johnny, do you want to reapply that sunblock right now? Like,
yeah, no.
No, they're not.
Hold the wheel.
Yeah, right? They're like, let me just make my drink real quick. Hold on. That's a bad joke. Sorry, guys. Shout out to Southwest.
Get that little cute stewardess in here.
Right?
I noticed it and I was like, fuck, I need to wear sunblock.
Yeah, it is. And that's why a lot of like Asian women in the Asian community, you'll notice that they wear gloves and they wear like the sleeves and stuff. Like, oh yeah, that shit's real. Like it is real talk. Mm-hmm. So, where were we?
You signed up for school.
Oh, so I signed up for school and he was pissed because rewind 10 years and we had the conversation. I said, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, like I signed up for cosmetology school. If I don't have a job, like I have orientation on this day. And I will never forget where we were and what that conversation looked like and how my heart broke in a million fucking pieces. He looked at me point blank and he said, I will never fucking marry a hairdresser. I will marry an attorney before I marry a hairdresser.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
This is before the baby was born?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. This is when we first started dating.
Yeah. This is before red flags, apparently.
Yeah. Six Flags. I didn't get my ticket yet. I didn't get my ticket yet.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. It didn't settle. Obviously, it didn't settle well with me because I'm like, you should just fucking support me regardless of what I do. I could be the fucking janitor and you should support me. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, like we're supposed to be in this together, right? And I can make good fucking money doing hair. Mm-hmm. I can make 6 figures doing hair. This is how ignorant he is to the whole industry. But he just looked at it as it's a service industry and it's beneath me. Mm. And I was like, oh, just so happened, universe works out in mysterious ways. And the day that I was supposed to go in for my orientation was the day that I actually got an offer letter for a position.
Oh, wow.
So obviously I took it right back into corporate and that's where I lay for the next 10 years. But that's why I say I needed that because I know how to crunch numbers. I know how to analyze data. I know what market basket looks like. I know what marketing looks like and branding and labeling and all the things. And I would not have had that experience and that knowledge if I didn't have that. It's in my business wouldn't be as successful as it is today. And considering that I opened up right before the pandemic, they were women, unfortunately, that had a thriving business, aesthetics business, and they had just been in the treatment room for years and years and years, and they didn't know how to actually run the backside of their business. So when the pandemic hit, they were fucked because they're like, we don't know what to do. Like, okay, now it's fish out of water. Like, oh, do we, I thrived during that time because that was my wheelhouse. And I also dove into education because I'm like, I'm going to fucking learn. I'm going to learn as much as I can because school only teaches you so much, right? They teach you enough to pass bar, but they don't like teach you anything else. And so I did it. And I'll tell you, the 9 months that I went to school at night, I did not see my kids during the day because they were at school. I went to school at night. We never saw each other for 9 months. I entrusted my partner, stepdad, to do right by me, right? Because now we've been together.
Hold it down.
We've been together for some years now. Years.
This ain't new.
Right? This ain't new. We got together in 2008. This is 2019.
11 years.
We've been together some years.
Yeah.
And he was so angry and he hated me so much that during these 9 months, this man manipulated my children and turned them against me.
Motherfucker.
It was his junior and senior year of high school, and he fucking hated me. And me and my kids, we were like this. Like, my kids, they love themselves some mama, right? Because I was always there. I was at baseball games. I was at softball games. I did dentist, doctor's appointments, fucking boys and girls club. Like, I did everything because remember, stepdad was like, whoa, these ain't my kids.
That's your kids.
These ain't my kids.
Yeah.
And my kids are your kids. But he didn't have a choice because I didn't give him a choice. I was like, this is what I'm doing. End of the day. Well, what's your fucking plan? I put this whole spreadsheet together. I did a PowerPoint presentation. Here's my 5-year business plan, because that's what he does. He's business minded, right? So I'm like doing all this and I'm like, this is my goal. I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself, because I know that in order to have the lifestyle that I want, to be able to have my kids do X and Y and Z and be there for them, I need to build my own schedule. Because that was a major issue, is that I'd have to tell my boss, like, hey, I got to pick up my kid all the way in fucking North Park, and I'm up in Sorrento Valley, and he's got a baseball game at this time. And they were just like, because it was old suit mentality of thinking like, you need to be in your cubicle by then, and from this time to this time, right? Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, that's not how the world works anymore. Like, I'm salary, first of all, and I'm working, and as long as the job's fucking done, it's done, right? Like, where does it matter what I get, how it happens, what time? I could be working at 11 o'clock at night as long as it's in your inbox by 7 a.m. Yeah. What the fuck? Power trip thing. Whole different story.
You're a woman. Come on.
Exactly.
Stay in your cubicle.
Stay in my lane.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in my lane. Stay in my lane, Jan. Stay in my lane.
Yeah.
So he ended up, he was so angry and so pissed off at me that he turned the kids against me. And for 9 months, they constantly heard, whatever it is that he told them and fed them, and they hated me. And it wasn't until my son moved away and went to college and came back his first year, and we had a candid conversation. We went out, drove around, got dinner, and he apologized to me, and he said, Mom, I'm really sorry. He's like, you didn't deserve any of that. Like, I understand now. He told me where he was hurt. He said, it wasn't, I can weed through the bullshit of like, I knew that dad, because he was old enough, right? I knew that what dad was saying was like, not like, you, and like, he goes, what I was upset about was the fact that like, you weren't home anymore, and I didn't want to be home because you weren't home, because he's drinking and he's a fucking asshole, and like, why do I want to be around that? Like, I'm almost out of here. Like, he had figured it out, right? But he was still taking his aggression out on me because I wasn't around. Which is fair. Like, you went from having your mom at your beck and call doing everything to now I'm like, I fucking wash my hands of it. And on top of it, when I was home for those 9 months, right before I was like, fuck this, I'm going to go to aesthetic school, they were awful to me. My entire family, they were awful to me because he was awful to me. The dad was setting the tone, and he didn't respect me because I didn't bring anything to the table anymore, because I didn't bring anything financially to the table anymore. And that's how he saw it.
You were just the dishwasher and the cook.
That's right. And the Uber driver and the this and the nanny and and they treated me like that. I would wake up in the morning and there'd be fucking candy wrappers and this and that. And I'm just like, at one point I was like, the tower moment hit, and I was like, fuck this.
Fuck all y'all.
I'm on strike. Like, literally, I didn't go grocery shopping. If they wanted to go somewhere, I was like, find a way. You got Chevrolet legs. You can walk. I'm sorry. I'm done. That ship has sailed. If you can be nice to me and be kind and respect me, then yeah, I'll do something for you. But until then, fuck off.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah. So now fast forward. I was in Catalina this weekend for my 17-year-old daughter's birthday weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm jumping the gun. It sounds nice.
Right.
Got some cute pants out of it.
That came out of Catalina were 2 pairs of pants, boo. So, first of all, let me just put this out there, okay? This is not my tax bracket, okay?
Catalina?
No.
Catalina wine mixer?
No. Catalina wine mixer. No. This is not my tax bracket, nor my idea to have an all paid.
My wallet just ran out the
room. Right? All expense paid weekend trip to Catalina, house rented for you as a 17-year-old and 3 of your best girlfriends.
Whose idea was this?
Not mine.
Was it? Hey, those ain't my kids.
Yup. Yep. Thought it was a fucking grandiose idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, talk about a sense of entitlement. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm 40 and I don't even get that shit. Like, what? What did I miss? What memo?
Yeah.
I think for him, he's making up for where he knows that he obviously like fucked up, right? And so he's like compensating financially. The thought was there. I understand that the thought was there, but I'm just like, bro, like, no.
That's
like
extreme.
That's extreme. That's extreme. Like the house rental alone, a couple grand. The ferry ride, a couple hundred. Parking, a couple hundred. Like these girls want to do things. They want like, I am not made of money like that. Like I work really fucking hard.
Yeah.
What?
I touch a lot of skin all day.
Right? Like you rub the lotion on the skin, Clarice. Oh,
it rubs the lotion.
It rubs the lotion. Give me a cheek.
Yeah.
I need a little extra money. So leading up to this trip, right? Like, by the way, I came home from work late night, right? One night. And he's like, so we're going to go to Catalina for her birthday. And I'm like,
you have like a whiskey glass? That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah,
and
no.
A cigar.
Yeah, no. Coors Light.
Coors
Light bottle. The angry beer.
Spencer.
The angry beer. At least fucking get Corona. Like, Jesus.
Minimal.
Come on. Standards.
Please.
Standards. If you don't have a lime, like, okay, I'll let it slide.
Coors Light?
Oh, God.
Love yourself, sir.
Just today only. So he decided to plan this trip, right? And then a month before the trip and says, I don't want to go. Just you and the girls, take the girls, you and the baby and take the girls, make it a girls weekend trip, you know. And I come home late to this one night and I'm like, what kind of fuckery is happening here? Like, what's going on? I don't want to go. And I'm like, no, this was your idea. I didn't want to go. Like, this is not my thing. I don't think she's deserving of it. She's not deserving of it. And he's like, no, I know. That's why I'm not going. And I'm like,
because you're the reward? Or
he's like, no, she's a bitch and I don't want to be around her. Like, you know, and I'm like,
that's what he set it up. He's like, I need a weekend.
Yeah.
Away from all these.
Yeah. And I was like, call it like what it is then, bro. Yeah. Like, just say,
Too much estrogen.
I need some space.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is not a good idea because my daughter and I, we already butt heads. Like, we already butt heads. She is my mom.
Reincarnate. Oh, is your mom still alive?
My mom's still alive. But like, this is talking about generational curses.
Yeah.
Like,
you thought you escaped it.
I thought I did. Like, my mom was this way with me and I was like, I'm not going to be this way with my kid. And then my kid ends up fucking being just like my mom. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening here? Like, the Matrix just fucked me. like I can't even, right? So go to Catalina. Friday night, great. Saturday morning, that's when shit went sideways, right? So I'm already there, not wanting to be there, having to be there with a 6-year-old that's not feeling well, under the weathers, got a fever, terrible cough. Like, the whole goal though was like, this is the girls' trip. Like, this is for them to have fun. Like, basically, I am the signature for them to do shit for parental guidance and the fucking ATM.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day. And here's the golf keys. Here you go. Because golf carts are cars over there on the island.
Oh.
Yeah. So
nice.
You only drive golf carts and you treat them actually like vehicles. They have license plates and like you will get a ticket. There are cops that like, yeah, it's like a legit thing. I want to retire there though. Like, just like beep, beep on the island with my basket.
Yeah. A couple more facials to go. Huh?
Right? Yeah. A couple more facials to go. And so now we're on the island. It's Saturday morning and the girls have like a parasailing at like 9:30 in the morning, right?
That's terrifying.
Right. They're like, do you want to go? And I'm like, fuck no. I want my feet happily planted on the ground.
There's sharks in there.
I'm good. Right? Like, you know, that's the ocean, right? You know, if you hit that at like 30 miles an hour, you dead, right?
Yeah.
Like, you ain't coming back from that.
High.
Like, no thanks.
Not worth the Instagram picture.
I'm good. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No. So I let them do it though. I parental signature right on over. Here you go. So, however,
waiver.
However, So my daughter being my daughter, right? Alpha and like, you know, doddering, right? Thinks that she is running the show, which I'm like, you're running the show, boo. Fine. This is your thing, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to do whatever you want to do, girl. Like, you do it. And she's like, we're just going to go, you know, we're just all going to go and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. Knowing damn well, they're going to have a parental consent. And there's only one golf cart and I ain't on it and it's down there and I'm up here. So the math ain't mathin'. Like, what do you want me to do? Sure the shit. Calls me at 9:30. The boat's already left, right, with that go round. And she's like, we fucking missed it because of you. And I need your signature. And I'm like, excuse me?
Damn.
Right?
Damn. Now I know you're not Mexican.
So I'm like, I know what's happening here. She's obviously pumping her chest in front of her girlfriends. Like, I'm not dumb. I know my daughter. She, like I said, she's alpha. She's like trying to be big and badass. And this is her weekend. And like, clearly there's some like irritation, agitation. There's something going on with the girl group that I just don't know about. And the girl group that she selected, by the way, only one of them was one of the original OGs that she had picked. Two of them actually backed out at the last minute. And
two replacements?
And two replacements.
Those snakes we were talking about earlier. Those bitches.
Right? Right? Birds of a feather flock together. And I've always told my kids this. Like, always. Like, parents will look at you and they will immediately judge you by who you hang out with, because we know we're not dumb. Yeah. Right? And so the one girl that was the original OG, they had not been friends in a while. They were friends in elementary school. And I've known and come to know things about this little girl that like don't sit right with me. And I'm just kind of like, this is not for me to judge though, right? Like, this is up to my daughter to make smart choices. The other two girls, one of them, I'm going to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm going to throw that out there. Allegedly, but it's been all over the local news, if not national news.
Oh, wow.
Of relations with coaches.
Oh, wow. Yo.
Right?
Is she of age at least?
No. They're in high school.
Shit.
They're juniors in high school.
Fuck.
Yes. So already I'm like,
red flag.
Red flag. I don't know about that girl. And I know that she's a massive pothead, like, already, which I'm not going to throw stones, but I'm an adult. There's a difference. I know how to handle. I've been around for a hot minute. You're a fucking kid and you're vaping, and vaping is very different than smoking green. It is. It really is. I've watched people that vape and it just fucks with their mind in a different way, the chemicals, versus people that just really smoke. Like, they
get fucking weirdly addictive.
Yeah.
Like, aggressively
that's
addictive.
Why I'm saying it's like, it brings out like an ugly, aggressive, just
crackheady.
Yes.
Vibe.
Like, it's very different. And so then the other girl that was the original OG, I know that she dabbles in do's, and like, I've heard allegedly that there was a few years back, mind you, the girls are 17 now, so a few years back is like 14, 15, I'm going to put age, that her parents received a anonymous letter in their mailbox telling them all the gruesome details of their daughter sucking dick and doing drugs and gangbangs and this and that.
Yo, who the fuck are these?
You didn't know what I was going to say, right? Looking at me, don't judge a book by its cover. You would never have expected me to say the shit right now that I have told you already.
I thought you were to say like doing cocaine. I was like, I mean, she's young. What? Holy shit.
I wish.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So they say.
Damn.
Yeah. So I already knew some things, right? The third girl, I knew nothing about her. I had met her one other time. And then the only other time was when I was literally picking her up and I met her mom saying, oh, we're going to Catalina now. Like, you know, like, I knew nothing about this girl at all. Just, she's a new flavor of the month. She's pissed off. She's exploded at me. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? Right. And so I'm like, it's not a big deal. She's like, well, they were able to move our time slot to 11:30. So we'll come back up so you can sign the form and blah, blah. I was like, perfect. Great. Worked out. See, baby, it worked out.
Yeah.
Like, good. Still irritated because like she's flexing, right? But like, and there's no need, but like, I can tell that like something's going on, but I don't want to get involved because that ain't my ish. Like, that's, you figure it out, right? Like I told her, be very careful on who you invite. Like, understand dynamics of people.
Especially like on a trip type shit.
Exactly. Like, just, but no, like, yeah, you might be cool with her. They might be cool, you know, separate, but maybe they don't know each other, like how it's going to vibe or work. Like she didn't think about any of that,
It's
right?
very important to like mixing friend groups.
Yes.
It's dangerous.
Yes. Wow.
Not dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
It is. It
can go bad.
It is. It can go bad. And here's the thing.
Because there's people who are possessive.
Fuck around and find out, right? What'd we say?
Yeah.
What'd we say? Fuck around and find out. And that's what happened. So my daughter was obviously irritated. And I know this for a fact because one of the girls pulled me aside later and was like, she's really upset because she, you know, she wants to do this and she wants to do that. And she's, you know, so-and-so's not letting her do it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, well, she doesn't need to take it out of me. Like, I'm not the punching bag, right? Like, not cool, right? But like that's a side conversation that I'll have with my daughter at another time because I don't want to embarrass her. She's embarrassing herself right now, but like we'll have words later, right? Like time and a place for everything, right? Now girls end up they come back, signature, end up doing their thing, right? And so at this point I'm like, okay, well, what's the plan? Because me and, you know, baby, we want to go mob around the island. And so you guys got the golf cart, but like, do I need to rent another golf cart or like, how's this going to work? And so we're figuring it out. I end up renting another golf cart. You have to be 21 years and older. So like, clearly they can't drive it. So I got the rented golf cart, put the baby on it with me. We did scenic route, gave them the keys to their 4-seater golf cart, let them do their thing, right? By 5 o'clock, I'm turning in my golf cart, go over to the playground. Me and my baby, we're playing for a little bit, right? And 2 girls walk up and they're like, hey, like, you know, where's, you know, my daughter and the other one? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I thought you guys were all together. Yeah. I'm like, I thought you guys were all together. Like, this is the first I'm seeing you guys since 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. Like, I have no idea. Right. And so then they're like texting, they're communicating or whatever. And so mind you, my daughter does not have a license. Right. I kept giving the keys to the licensed driver.
Oh, that's where you messed up.
I mean,
yeah.
I gave the keys to the licensed driver, thinking that the licensed driver is going to be the driver.
You expected her to be responsible.
Well, then I see my daughter whipping around the corner and I'm like, okay, well, she's driving and all right, well, she wants to drive because it's her trip. So like, okay, fine, right? So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Like they had no idea. There was nothing planned. Like you can tell there was just like fucking chaos. And so the one girl chimes in, the one that I don't know, you know, anything about anything. And she's like, well, I'm really hungry. And, you know, can we like get food and blah, blah, like very like demanding, you know, whatever. So my daughter at this point, she's like, well, I want to get my sweater because the shop's closed and we're leaving tomorrow. So like, can we like go do that? And like, so I'm like, whatever, let's just get in the car and let's just like go because it's like, just like, like, right, whatever. Like the shop's over here. The restaurant that you want to eat at's over here. Like we're over here. We just need to get there. So let's go. Let's move, right? Hop in the golf cart. The very first thing I look at her and I say, you have to treat this as a real car. Okay. Do not fuck around. Understand that the police officers will pull you over and I will be the one that gets in trouble because I am the only adult here and I am the one with the license and I am not driving. And we have a toddler that's not in a car seat and there's 6 on a 4-passenger. So we're fucking up all the way around. Yeah. Okay. Just be cool.
You said drag race? Say less.
Couldn't be cool. Turn that corner, fucking mad dash. And as soon as we turn that corner, who's there?
The police.
That's right. The sheriff. And you're on a fucking golf cart. So I'm literally passing him on the path. You know what he did? This mofo pulled down his glasses and he made eye contact with me like, bitch, I got you.
He said, ma'am.
Yes, that's exact. And
you look young, but not around young girls.
No, right? And so at this point, I'm fucking freaked out, right? Like, I don't need a ticket. I have always been on the right side of the law. Like, I don't need this in my life. This is like so unnecessary. And so I'm like, pull over. Kid's not listening to me. Finally, I'm like, pull over. And she's like, well, at this point, she's so angry because now I've embarrassed her and she's just blacked out angry. I'm not even listening to her. She's like rambling and ranting. And I just hop out of the fucking car because I'm like, I just need 2 bodies out of the car. Like, just get 2 people out of the car. Let's figure it out. I hop out of the car. She's yelling. And I said, get out of the cart. Somebody please get out of the cart. And so what does she do? Takes out the keys, walks around the golf cart, comes to me. What is the first thing that we all know that you don't do in front of police officers? You don't cause a scene. You don't wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. You don't call your mom a fucking bitch.
Fuck.
You just don't do some things.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely that. A second one.
Right?
Yeah.
So at this point now,
In front of some little bitches you don't even care about.
Right?
That's the worst part.
So I'm like, and she's over here like, you're embarrassed. If your whole point is just to pull me over and embarrass me in front of my friends, in front of the cop, and in front of everybody, then fuck you, fucking bitch. And I'm just like, I'm literally like this right now. I am trying for the no in Fresno to not come out of me. Listen, you can take the girl out of Fresno, but you cannot take the Fresno out of the girl. And I am trying with all my might to keep my shit together at this point. And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, please be quiet. You are causing a scene. Please be quiet. Can you just give me the keys? Just give me the keys. And so she throws the golf cart keys at me and she storms off. And I turn around and I look at everybody in the golf cart and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what is going on right now? So the one girl is like, I'm going to go with her. And I'm like, you go do that. Thank you. Okay. Get back in the golf cart, pull the 6-year-old up. Cop's not leaving. Homeboy is not moving. So I'm just like,
oh, we got some action.
Right? I'm like, all right, we're gonna just wait here just a minute, guys. Like we're just gonna just chill because like I don't know what to do in this moment. Like
the block is hot,
right? Like woo, I don't know. So then I turn around because now as an adult, I'm like thinking like, what did I do wrong? Like where did I go wrong for like that whole scene to just happen the way that happened and play out? Like what am I missing here? So I turn around and I look at the girls and I'm like, what am I missing? Did I do something wrong? Like gaslighting the fuck out of myself at this point, okay?
Yeah. Like damn, maybe I am the problem.
Right. I'm like, fuck, am I the common denominator here? Like,
stepdad was right.
Right? Like, damn, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And so they're looking at me and they're like, no. And I'm just like, okay, like, clearly there's something else going on, right? Like I'm just not in the mix of it yet. So now I realize cop behind me, I'm looking at him and he's like fiddling, doing something else. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity and we're just going to kind of sneak away, right? So, driving away. One of the girls, can we go back to the house? I want to get my sweater. I'm cold.
Bitch. Oh. Bitch. No, absolutely not.
Mind you, I turned around and I was like, this man. Like, I was like, so what you're saying is that we could have just went back to the house and I didn't have to come buy another Lunchable. And then I realized what she was wearing and why she was saying that. Because this is little tiny tube top.
Of course.
With no bra.
Why?
Nipplegate happening. Like all the things. All the things.
You don't even want to see those.
No.
Little girl.
Exactly.
Little girl.
Put them away.
Yeah.
Okay?
There should be a legal age limit to no bra. Like you have to at least be 20.
Because now we get back in the cart, go back up to the motherfucking house. I don't want to be walking around with these little girls
looking
like
all
this.
Slutty.
Right. So I do the damn thing. I bite the bullet on it and I'm fucking, okay, it's a Lunchable. It cost me all of $5. Like whatever, right? Go back down the hill. Meet my daughter and the other friend, park it in 1 hour parking, start walking behind my daughter, right? Like in the group. Cause I'm just trying to like stay away, keep the peace. Right. And all I hear is this lady fucking round of applauding my kid, staring at my kid going, girl, own that shit. Yeah, work it, girl. You own it. And I'm like,
to your daughter?
To my daughter. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Like an old woman?
Like, I mean, 30s to 40s probably, right? Woman?
Yeah, a thought. Like, what the fuck? You don't want to do that.
But she also probably didn't know how old my daughter was because my daughter was in front of everybody else. Mm. And my daughter is very busty. Very, very busty. And so that's when my eyes went from this lady out, what the fuck are you clapping at my kid for, to turning around and looking at my kid because she turns around, side profile it, no bra, the same type of shirt, just a different fucking color. Just I'm like, no. And then the lady like catches and looks at me and realizes like I'm mom. And I just look at her and I'm like, she realized in that moment, like, oh, I fucked up. Like, oh, God, woo, that she's a little young. Like, ooh, 2 and 2 was starting to make 4 in the same Common Core. So now we go into this restaurant. It's a 20-minute wait. They don't want to wait. Now we're re-walking back to this other place where she's like, this is where I want to get my sweater. And I'm like, okay, do it, hurry up before it fucking closes. Sweater. Get a sweater. I'm encouraging it. I'm like, 20-minute wait, we can go get the sweater now. Yeah. Like literally, I'm like, let's go, right? Thank fucking God, right? Thank God. So we go, we get the sweater. At that point, they're like, we don't even want to go there. So now we walk all the way across the other side of the fucking island to the other sushi joint, Lunchable in hand. And I'm like looking at them and they're like, we're going to eat here. Okay, you're going to go ahead and take a seat and I'm going to go walk back to the other side of the island and go get the golf cart because it's in 1 hour park. Fucking livid at this point, right? I'm livid, but I'm like, I got time to myself. Like, I'm living life, right? Yeah. Golf cart, go around, park it, eat dinner, done. They're trying to figure out, okay, now what do we want to do? What do we want to do? And I'm like, I'm just listening the whole time. Like, I'm not going to chime in. I'm not going to give my 2 cents because my head's going to get fucking bitten off. Like, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to snap. And I'm trying to not lose my shit. Like, I'm really trying to be cool, right? Soup Dog would have been really proud of me. Real proud of me.
Yeah.
And so at this point, now my daughter makes a snarky comment and she's like, well, since we can only have 4 on the golf cart at a time. And I'm like,
see, I don't want to call her a bitch, but
no. Accurate statement.
Your daughter's acting up.
Yeah. And so I'm like looking at her at this point across the table and I'm thinking to myself, like, you are ungrateful, fucking entitled snatch right now. Like, this is not how I raised you. Who the fuck are you? And then I'm starting to think like, I think these chicks are doing drugs. Like, I think they are high. I think they're vaping and this is why they're like being so secretive and they're like, there's like some shit going on. Like, I can tell that the dynamics have changed and I can tell that the chemical imbalance with my own kid is off. Like, I can tell. How about the 4 of you go take the golf cart, go back to the house, go do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay? And then come back down and meet me and the baby at the arcade because we're going to go ahead and finish what I loaded on and redemption tickets out and get her a prize. And my daughter's like, oh, great, 30 minutes. We'll see you in like 30 minutes then. And I'm like, great, but just know my phone is dying, okay? It's going to die. So 30 minutes. Okay. We're playing. It's getting dark. I'm like, what the fuck? Hour and 30 minutes go by.
God damn.
At this point now, I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, come on, baby. You know, we go out, we walk out. The minute we walk out, what do? I immediately look up at the fucking house to see if I can see like our lights are on, like what's going on. The fire truck, the ambulance, the police department. Dude, I cannot make this shit up. I'm going to write a book.
Did you have to hike it?
I had to hike 5 miles, me and the baby.
Now you bugging.
Ooh.
I'll be like, I don't know what happened up there. I'll find out tomorrow.
So I'm walking, switchback up this fucking hill with a 6-year-old, dragging her in tow, steep hill, dragging her in tow because she's like, I'm tired. Of course you are. And you can't breathe because you have something going on in your chest right now, right? We don't have your inhaler, like all the fucking things, right? All the things. Down comes the fire truck, passes me by. Down comes the ambulance and everybody passing me by, you know. And then up comes this other car, you know. And I'm just like fucking in
5 miles.
5 miles from one side of the island all the way up. And I get to my house and one of the trucks that passed me is at my house and it's because it's the maintenance guy. And he goes, oh, I passed you on the way up. If I would have known, I would have picked you up. I feel so bad. And I'm like,
that would have been convenient though.
Oh yeah, that would have been so nice of you. Like considering that I had a 6-year-old and you saw me and the struggle bus was real. And now you feel even more like shit because it's my house.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. Are you ready for this?
I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth right now.
You know, I have a tendency, a lot of people tell me that. You never know what you're going to get. I I think I've proved that already.
I think I got like anxiety from this story so far.
Right? You're like, when this bitch leaves, I gotta cleanse myself.
Gotta call my therapist. Listen.
Right? So I just had this traumatic situation happen. So I get there, and the first thing out of this guy's mouth, right? And mind you, he was at my house the night before, the first night of check-in, because we had no hot water and we had no electricity in half the house. Oh, wow. So he already felt bad because he's like, fuck, like, I'm sorry, you know? So now he's there at my house for a different reason. And he looks at me point blank and he's like, ma'am, I don't know what your girls are on or doing or what's happening. He's like, but so here's what happened. And I'm like, yeah, what happened? So apparently the girls came in hot on the golf cart, never once braking or stopping, proceeded to go over a railroad tie and bust through the fucking house. Like, I mean, not fully bust through, excuse me. I retract my statement.
Yeah.
Let me retract my statement. Full on speed, hit the house. Bust the main water line for all 3 of the units, because there's 3 units in each part of the house because it's on the side of a hillside, right? 2.5 inches from hitting the main gas line.
Fuck.
And then it fucking explodes, right? The water line explodes. Full on ram it. It explodes. They fucking panic, reverse it, hit and run and leave.
Wow.
The lady.
So when you got there, they weren't there?
No. So the lady that was renting the unit at the level of where you parked the carts, she was actually at the kitchen sink window and
watching.
She saw everything. Everything. So that's how she told the maintenance guy. The maintenance guy told me, right? So now I'm pissed. My phone's dead. I'm like, what the fuck? The girls aren't here. The golf cart's not here, right? I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I go ready to go down the stairs. You know, my younger daughter's going down the stairs, and the door opens and one of the girls are there. Not my kid, but one of the girls. And she's like, oh, your daughter's on the phone. She wants to talk. I said, I don't want to talk. I have nothing to say. Take my 6-year-old. We go in our room, plug in my phone, call stepdad. Get it charged, call him. First thing he says on the phone, what the fuck is going on at the house right now? And I'm like, oh my God, I know. Like, what the fuck?
You should have been here.
Oh no, you know what he was talking about?
The damage.
No.
Oh.
In the time frame, yes, the damage, but in the time frame that I had no phone and
hiking a hill
across an island with a 6-year-old. And mind you, it was an hour and a half, right? While I was in the arcade still. My daughter managed to call dad after the incident happened 3 times in 30 minutes and change her story 3 different times. So now all he knows is this story. We pulled up to the house. The water main was already exploded. We didn't know what to do. We freaked out. So we went back down the hill looking for mom. We drove around for 45 minutes. We couldn't find her. She's so irresponsible.
Damn. So when you hear this, but you already know the truth.
I already know the truth. So when he says this to me, I'm picking my jaw off the floor, right? Pacing. Thinking, I wish I had a fucking bowl to smoke right now because I'm about to lose my shit.
Yeah.
And so then I tell him like the real story, and he immediately, like, you could tell, like, swallowed his fucking cojones on that.
Why would he believe a 17-year-old? I'd be like, yeah, where's your mom?
Ask all the questions, right? You would think you would riddle me this, right? So, but this is where their relationship during that 9 months, I said, got, you know, like
a little stronger.
Yeah. And they got very codependent on each other, and that toxicity fed off of each other. And they both hated me for their own reasons, but that's what brought them together. And so they have that weird codependent relationship, right? So naturally he's just thinking, oh yeah, your mom's probably fucking around, like, oh, she's probably getting high, like, you know, being irresponsible or something. I'm not that person. Like, I'm really not that person, but he would love to make me out to be that person, unfortunately, you know, just to be like, I told you so.
Told you so.
I'm not the bad one. I'm not the bad one. It's your mom. It's unfortunate. It really is. So now I check him and I put him in his place and I tell him the story, and he's like, oh, She lied to me 3 times.
17-year-old? No. Never. 17-year-olds don't do that.
Lies.
You're the liar, sir.
Good sir. Excuse me, good sir. So now, obviously, he feels like a fucking dick because he's like, oh, you know. And so I'm like, listen, I said, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to have anything to do with her. I said, I'm going to stay in the room. We catch the ferry in the morning. We will have conversation in the morning, like when we get home, because this is not the time nor the place.
And then you still got like a 2-hour drive?
We have an 1.5-hour boat ride and a 2.5-hour drive from Dana Point, right? But here's the thing. They weren't going with me. All the girls actually drove by themselves because we needed 2 cars because there was too many people. So me and the baby drove separately, which is perfect. I was like, you go right back into your fucking car. Like, we're good, right? So he agreed. He's like, just stay away, just stay away, just stay away. I'm like, oh, I am. Oh, I am, because I have nothing nice to say. So wake up early in the morning. You got to clean. You got to do all the dishes. You got to pick up all the trash. You got to take out the trash. You know, it's an Airbnb, right? You're renting a house. You got to take responsibility for it. And so these girls aren't fucking doing shit. I'm pissed at this point now. So I call dad and I'm like, hey, relay this fucking message, okay? Like, they need to get up and they need to do shit. Like, I can't be doing this. I'm cleaning house, cleaning the refrigerator, taking out trash, getting a 6-year-old ready, like doing all the things. And he's like, okay, right? So he gets on the phone and he's talking to her and she has it on speakerphone and they're downstairs. It's split level, right? All their bedrooms and all the girls are downstairs. So I'm cleaning, doing dishes in the kitchen and mind you, with no water, right? He ended up eventually turning on the water. Thank God. Thank God.
After she broke it?
Yeah, he ended up, the guy was amazing. He goes, you're not going to have any water for the whole night. And I was like, so like, can I flush the toilet? Or like, can I like, because me over here, I'm like, can I flush the toilet and can I wash my face? Like, like those are like, I need to know if I can do that. Like, I got bottled water if that's, but like, I need to know, like, what are we looking at? He's like, I'll try to get it up and running for you, blah, blah, blah. He ended up getting up and running. And so doing dishes, you know, cleaning. And I hear dad and I hear her and she's just mouthing off downstairs, right? 6-year-old comes back upstairs holding shampoo and conditioner. Okay. I just paid $40 for these bottles of shampoo and conditioner. Not cheap. Right?
$40.
I use the good stuff. Right.
Apparently.
And so my 6-year-old comes up and she's like, Sissy doesn't have any room to put these in her bag. I said, well, that's funny because those came in Sissy's bag on the way here. She can find fucking room to go back. Right. Like, I didn't say that to my 6-year-old, but I'm like, she can find room in her bag to go back. Take them back downstairs and give them to Sissy and please tell her to put them in her bag. Okay. And I'm just like, okay. 6-year-old comes back up with bottles and I'm like, nope, we're not doing this. Not doing this.
The amount of patience you have.
Right?
How to flip tables.
Right? Fucking New Jersey style. Like, Jesus. So I go downstairs. I grab the bottles, right? I go downstairs. Dad's on the phone, right? Walk into the scene of my daughter sitting on the bed, a friend sitting on the bed, little daughter goes in between. The other 2 girls are kind of huddled. Like, they're basically all on their phone, like in a huddle in a circle, right? And so I walk in, I'm in door frame and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, you need to put these back in your bag. Cause now I'm like upset, right? But I'm like, you need to put these back in your bag. I don't have room for them. You need to put them in the bag that they came in, period. And she looks at me and she's like, and at this point, she's just like mouthing off and I don't even know what she's saying, like at this point. And so now I come a little closer and I'm at the end of the bed and I said, you are going to put, and I couldn't even finish my sentence before my daughter is lunging off the bed.
Shut the fuck.
Lunging off the bed, okay? And slams me up against the wall. We got in a physical altercation.
OMG.
Now, let me tell you, okay? And this is just, I am not, and she used this against me later on, that I was fat shaming her. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. But I will give you, just so that you understand, my daughter is like 230 plus. I'm 127. I would never, first of all, ever fight my daughter, especially in front of her friends. If you're going to beat the shit out of your kid, you do that shit behind closed doors. Right? We don't have witnesses.
You hit her in areas where bruises make sense.
We don't want witnesses.
Yeah.
No. I'm not dumb. I worked for the public defender's office. Like, this is not my first rodeo, right? Like, I'm not dumb. She slams me up against the wall. At this point, we're in this funky little hallway, right? I'm at this point just blocking the best that I can, trying to just like maneuver my way to not have her attack me anymore. Like, I don't know what to do at this point. Like, I don't want to hit her. I'm in shock mode now, right? And so what does she do? She ends up getting her arms, her fingers, and she had like really long dagger pointy nails, and getting them around my neck, basically right here, like in my collarbone. And I'm just thinking to myself, this chick is trying to poke she's trying to poke, like, for me to bleed out. Like, she is like so angry with rage right now that she's trying to physically do bodily harm on me to really hurt me. And so at this point, I pull my fist back and do it in cocking mode. And I had ever the intent of actually connecting with her. It was more of like, I'm not afraid to do this. I will. And it was exactly what I needed for her to just kind of release a little bit, for me to then push her out of the way, right? So now I'm unfortunately in this funky, fucked up corner of two walls meeting, right? And so I like pivot, because now she pivots like a bull. And I'm just like, fuck, like bracing for it. I'm bracing for it. And sure the shit, she comes and she attacks me again, pushes me up against the wall. And now her friend, the one girl that I don't know from Adam, right, is coming in the mix of us. And I'm like, oh God, thank God, right? 'Cause she's not going to hit her friend. And so she's like, whoa, you know? And I'm like, oh God, yes, thank God, right? And so I'm looking at her with eyes of like, what the fuck is happening? But like, thank you for saving, like, thank you for doing all this. And this little girl looks at me and says, what the fuck is your problem? You're the adult. She's the child. You don't lay hands on her. What the fuck? And I'm like, what am I missing? Like,
you're in a Twilight Zone?
Let me process this real quick. Like, did we just all not witness the same shit? Like, what? But what that did is that gave my daughter, we stopped. Everybody stopped, right? Because I'm like, what? And it gave my daughter just enough time to realize that I was off guard. And I looked at her again. I looked at her and we met eyes, and she just full blasted at me 100,000,000%, full fucking speed. And the only thing that I can do with my instincts is, I'm a soccer player. I saw her coming at me and I fucking boom.
You 300 her?
Yep.
This is Sparta?
Right into the fucking wall.
Oh.
It knocked the wind out of her enough and separated enough for me to go into the other room now to have that part so that I can go protect my 6-year-old. Stepdad heard everything.
Oh.
And so here's the thing.
The whole time he's on speaker?
Whole time he's on speaker. And so when my daughter lunged off the bed, she's like, fucking bring it, bitch. Come on, fuck, I'm gonna fuck you up. Let's go. And then boom. I mean, it happened so fast, right? He heard everything though. He heard everything. So at this point now, I grab my 6-year-old, daughter and friend go in other room. The other two friends are like, what the fuck, right? I take daughter, I go upstairs, I call dad, I'm like pacing, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. He's like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, dude, and I replayed it play by play, like, oh my God, like, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on? He's like, okay. I said, listen, I'm gonna finish cleaning here. I'm gonna call a taxi. Taxi's gonna come get me. I'm gonna go down to the ferry. I'm calling real dad right now. This is like some shit. Like, this is too much for me. I can't process this right now. Like, what's going on? Left the tickets for the girls on the table, texted them, tickets are on the table. We're not talking. We end up catching the ferry, right? Sit separately, get back to Dana Point, get in different vehicles, drive separately. I get to my house and he actually ended up pulling in. So he went away for the weekend to go paint his mom's house to get it sold. It's going to go on the market. We ended up pulling up basically at the exact same time. And
all three parties?
No, just dad and I.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting for girls now, right? So he had been in communication with my daughter the entire time. And he's like, listen, you know, the one girl lives out in fucking BFE. Like, it's not the one girl's responsibility that is the driver to take her there, bring her back to our house, and her parents can come and pick her up, right? And so the girl did just that. She brought my daughter and the one friend back to my house, took the other girl home, the one that was whoa, right? Took her ass home, and then she went home herself, right? So
Bro,
now
their TikTok story must be fired.
Right?
What the fuck?
Snapchat! Like,
insane.
Yeah. So my stories get better. You'll learn this in time. Like, you think like, God, I've heard enough shit. No. I cannot make this shit up. This is like, and this is real life. And I say this because don't ever judge a book by its cover. If you were to look at me, you would never expect the shit that I have went through my entire life. Never. You would never, ever. You'd be like, whoa, I thought she's like perfect. She's got the perfect little life. No, far from it. And so now the girls, mind you, they've been together for some time by themselves, right? And that was my biggest fear because I'm like, they're corroborating some shit. They don't. And this whole time, the story is still being stuck to, we don't know what happened to the fucking water pipe. We didn't do it. Which now I'm like, now there's definitely some drugs or something involved because they were high.
We need to circle back.
Yeah.
Because was there damage to the cart?
There was no damage to the cart. Thank God, because there was like this roll bar in front of it. So the only thing that truly got damaged was that water pipe.
Oh.
Was the water pipe. Thank God. Thank God. So now I'm like, clearly there's no accountability, no ownership. Not once that night did not one of those girls come up to me to try to tell me any kind of story about anything, to apologize, to say, oh my God, Miss Tiffany, we're so sorry. Like, but nothing. They just moseyed about their day.
Well, that's just...
Moseyed about their day like nothing. Like, no big deal. There's no consequences for our actions. Like, nothing, right? And I'm like, bitch. You got another thing coming. So now I got the two girls home and the one girl's like, I'm going to go upstairs and take a shower, right? So at this point, like all the parents, me, real dad, stepdad, we all figured we're going to have an intervention, right? Stepdad did not want to do it. He's like, I think this is bad. It's just going to be conflict. We're not going to have any resolution on anything. And I said, no, we're past that, okay? We are past that. We're at the point of the investigation, like 48 hours, where you got to figure the fuck what happened out, okay? Because now they're going to make stories and this is going to, and like, we can't do that. We need to figure out what happened for them to crash the golf cart and then now lie, even though we know that what the truth is, right? So there's one portion of it. The bigger portion of it is,
what the fuck?
What the fuck? I need my daughter to please explain to me and articulate in a way that can justify what I did and said that was so horrendous that she thought she can lay hands on me. That's the fucking answer that I need.
5-page, single space, both sides explanation. Because what the fuck?
Right. And he's like, no, we don't even. And I'm like, oh, no, good sir. Yes, we do. And real dad, 1 year clean and sober, by the way, on a completely different path. Thank God for him. I am super proud of where he has come from. He knows what he needs to own. He knows that he's been an absentee dad. He knows his wrongs. And he is now at that point of his life. AA, right? You got to take ownership. You got to take accountability. He's there. He's like, I'm willing to sit down and tell my daughter where I went wrong, where I failed her, and not only where I failed her, but where I failed you. Like, I'm willing to do that. Stepdad, not willing to do that yet.
Not yet.
Not willing to take accountability. So he was not on board for that fucking kumbaya.
Hey.
Right?
Those your kids. Remember?
Your kids, right? But here's where I looked at him and I said, no.
It's your
That's
fault.
null and void because you have raised her since she's been 2 years old. So all three of us have raised this girl, and she is the way she is because of things that we did. We have faulted her on some level. We have hurt her. We have failed her. We need to take accountability of that. She is the way she is because of all three of us, right? That's facts. It's all the parties. And he's like, still standoffish. And I'm like, well, fuck you. You don't have a choice. As simple as that. You don't have a motherfucking choice.
I'm playing with you.
We ain't playing. Sit the fuck down, okay? This is not your show anymore. I'm going to take over this now because I need to know why my daughter thinks she can justify laying hands on me. Because I'll tell you right now, she did it once before. She used her body weight and shoved me out of the way. And I promised her, I said, I'm going to promise you, little girl, right now, 2 things are going to happen if you ever fucking lay hands on me again. If you're a minor, you will be on the first plane to wherever the fuck you need to go, or you will be going to juvenile hall. And if you are not a minor, I will be pressing charges and you will be arrested because I don't fucking play like that. I was physically abused by my mother. I was physically abused by their dad. I will never let anybody lay hands on me ever again. Never. Especially my own kid. Not acceptable. And so that warning was made very clear. So now this is strike 2. We don't do strike 2. We do not do strike 2. So we have this kumbaya. And she basically, and this was really disappointing. And I actually pulled both gentlemen aside later in a private, candid conversation. And I let them know how much they failed me. They failed me as a mother and they failed me as a woman. Because at one point in time, this man over here loved me. And this man says that he loves me. But yet, for I don't know how many minutes, they let my 17-year-old daughter open mic say the most nastiest, hurtful, untrue things about me, to my face. And when I say, I'm talking, you're just a fucking bitch and all you do is spread your legs to have kids and nobody fucking likes you. And this is why you have no family anymore because the shit that was raging out of this girl's mouth, which I sat there because I'm like, I know you're angry and I'm just going to just take it. But at no point in time, and this is where I was disappointed in both of them, they did not stand up for me.
Fam.
And that's exactly what I told them. I said, this is where you failed me and you disappointed me because you know my character and you know what I've been through in life and you know what I've gone through with the both of you fuckers and what you've put me through. And not only you, but your family has put me through. And I still am positive and I still love and I come from a place of love and genuine and try to see people for the kind that they are versus the evil that they are, right? I give people chances. But you know what? Fuck around and find out. Right? And you don't want to do that. And my daughter, she found out. And so I was truly disappointed with them. And the real dad, he saw it and he owned it. And he said, wow, I'm really sorry. Like, you're right. Like, that was really fucked up of me. And I should have told her to shut the fuck up and put her in her place because that's not true. Like, none of the stuff that she said, like, you're right. She doesn't know who you are. Like, she really doesn't. She only knows what we unfortunately have all said because we have all hated you at one point in time for whatever reason. Right? And I'm like, But yeah, I pay for this. I'm paying for this, right? So now stepdad doesn't say a word either. And so I call him out on it, right? And I'm like, I'm truly disappointed in you. I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, clearly,
no.
None of us knew what the fuck to do. Like, there's no manual for what just happened, right? Well, we didn't handle it the right way. And I said,
I'm glad we have the firm grasp on the obvious.
I said, well, hold on. I said, hold on. I said, what do you mean we didn't handle this the right way? And he's like, well, I just think we could have done it differently. And I said, okay, well, please articulate. Please tell me how we could have done this differently. I don't know. But you're telling me that we could have done this differently, but you don't know? And now this is 2 days later that we're having this conversation. And mind you, the decision that we had to make was in the moment, right? We had to make a snap decision in the moment. But I did it wrong? Wow.
The gaslighting for real.
Wow. That is not gaslighting, sir. That is called gas lamping. That is the whole fucking lamp.
Yeah.
I just looked at him.
SDG&E.
Right? PG&E from where I'm from, up fucking north. I'm just like, I'm looking at him, and to this day, he still thinks that we handled the situation wrong. Long story short, girl that's still at my house decides, she's still there the whole time because I told you my daughter was like, oh, what, pumping her chest. We're going to do this shit now. We're going to do this shit now, right? And she literally on the call said this at one point in time. How dare you to me? How dare you think you can come downstairs and fucking flex in front of me and my friends?
Over shampoo and conditioner.
And I looked at her and I said, flex, huh? Flex. Really? Flex. So little girl comes down, right? I stop her. I go into the stairs and like stop her from coming down. This little girl thinks she can parent me in my house. The friend.
This fucking...
The friend.
Non-family member.
Yeah.
This fucking nobody.
Yeah.
This bitch off the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
Comes down my stairs.
She's all, listen.
That's exactly what she did. She said, you have no right to talk to her that way. How dare you?
Bitch.
She's like, I don't like your tone. I don't like the way you're talking to her. Leave her alone. She didn't do anything.
This is the friend.
This is the friend. Okay. If there's one thing that you will learn about me, it is not my tone, because I can get high. My octave can get real high. You don't have to worry about that. It's when I lower my voice and I use my big girl words, I will fucking cut you. I looked at this little girl and I said, honey, here's what I'm going to need you to do, okay? I'm going to need you to go back upstairs and go in my daughter's room and shut the door and call your parents and tell them to come pick you up. She goes upstairs and calls the cops.
I thought she was going to call the parents.
Called the cops. Cops now are at my house. But before the cops get to my house, okay?
The parents get there?
I go outside because I think a parent's here, right? The little girl that got dropped off found a fucking ride from another little girl back to my motherfucking house. Not with her parent.
For what?
Because they called the cops. And because apparently now the story is that I punched her in the face and threw her up against the wall as well. I am like, are you fucking kidding me? So
are you out on bail right now?
She came back to my house to corroborate some bullshit ass story.
Do they not know that there's like text messages stay in the phones?
I don't, at this point, none of us know what the fuck is going on. Like, there's major fuckery happening, and like, I did not get a ticket to this show. Like, I don't want a ticket to the show. So I'm in the backyard. I'm talking to real dad. We're trying to figure out shit of what's going on, right? Cops come out. Cops talking to the girls. Other cop comes up to me, and she's like, okay, what's going down? Tell me what's going on. Immediately. They got, stuff on their chest, videotaping. And I'm like, great. Let's videotape this shit. Like, I need to make sure that all this shit is on tape, because I know CPS is now probably going to get involved. Like, this is going to be a whole bigger ball of wax, right? So I started off with, so let me just tell you how fucking entitled my bitch ass daughter is. Because we just came from a weekend for her birthday in Catalina. Have you ever been there? No. Oh, it's beautiful. You should go.
Yeah.
And then I tell her the whole story. At the end of it, she looks at me and she goes, so your daughter's entitled. Okay, yes, I get it now. Okay. So now a cop from up front talking to the girls comes back, and, good cop, bad cop plays out, right? So he's like trying to figure out. And so he's like kind of coming at me sideways a little bit. And I checked him and I said, excuse me, good sir, officer. Just like this, because I'm kind of a bitch like this now. Like, I'm literally talking to him like this. I said, let me ask you a simple question. Are you a parent? You don't need to answer that. But if you are a parent, you will understand. If you are not a parent, you have been a child. And so you will understand, and this will relate to you. At one point in time, your parent has probably come to you and said, if you have ever felt like you are in danger or in harm's way, when you are somewhere, you immediately call 911 or you call mom and dad, and we will come find your ass, right? Every parent, every kid knows that. That's like standard protocol of the beginning of the manual, right?
Page 1 of parenting.
1. Appendix. I said, riddle me this. If I was such an imminent danger to these girls and I did what they're claiming to say that I did, tell me why none of these parents are busting down my door right now.
Facts.
And none of the parents even know about this. Confirmed, and none of the parents even knew about it. I said, and on top of it, what proves my point is that little girl out there crying wolf, saying I did whatever, whoop-de-woo, was driven home by another girl, and she found her way back, not by her parent, but by another friend. So what does that tell you, good sir officer? Oh, yeah, okay, well, what would you like us to do? Because you're the parent. And I said, okay. He goes, do you want us to let her go with her friends? I said, fuck no. Why would I reward her and let her go stay the night at her friend's house when she does not deserve that? He's like, okay, well, what's the plan? I said, the plan is I'm on the phone right now. Before she came out, I was looking for fucking flights. Her ass is out of here on the first flight. She's going to her dad in Arizona. Oh. Nobody lays hands on me. Nobody. And he's like, okay, well, it sounds like you got a plan. He's like, what do you want us to do? You tell those little girls to go home, and you tell my daughter that she can come in this house and go up to her room, and she can come out when she has to go to the bathroom. I will leave toast and I will leave water outside her door, and she will pack because in the morning she will be catching a flight. Okay. Tell me why at 6:15 a.m.
she ran away.
My daughter was hearing, hi, thank you for boarding Southwest Airlines.
Oh, you got her on the flight.
Fuck yeah, I don't fucking play.
She's gone.
Mama Tiff don't play. She is gone.
Out to Southwest Airlines.
Gone. I do not play. I made a promise.
Was she mad?
I mean, she wanted to go because she said this on the call too. You guys always say the grass isn't greener. The grass is greener over there. And I'm like,
it's hotter.
This is what I said, you will learn this, but the grass is green where you water it.
So right now she
is over there. She went out with the mindset of basically she did not pack shit because she thought she was going away for a week to blow it off and that everything was going to blow over and that she was going to come back. Little did she know, Monday her ass was on a flight. By the time she landed, I had already transferred school information to dad and gave him rights to enroll her out in Arizona. We had a therapy appointment already scheduled.
Out there.
I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's toxic. It's not healthy. She has issues that she needs to work through, major issues. And we can't be in the same household. And it's as simple as that. And you know what? Dad needs to step up to the plate. And he did. And I'm super thankful and grateful for that because he really did. Even though he is not in the financial place to do that.
Oh, so she's going to get a reality check.
Oh, she's going to get a hard reality check. A very hard reality check.
She wants to see what life really is about.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And
in Arizona.
Yeah. And he even said, he goes, she has no idea what she's in for because every time she comes out here, it's vacation mode because she's coming out for only 3 or 4 days. And this is real life now. And so today, I think it finally sunk in because she sent stepdad a text message saying, can you please pack extra stuff for me and mail it out to me? No.
Oh, you left it?
Yeah, no, we can't. He told you before you left, pack everything that you're going to need. And you chose not to listen. I don't know what to tell you. So since then, I have had CPS phone calls. The standard cops pretty much shut the investigation down. But of course, CPS was called. It's part of the natural process, right? They have to do their investigation. After they spoke to me, they spoke to dad, corroborating stories, realizing that my daughter's full of shit. They asked us for a third party. I said, listen, I'm going to give you my son because my son knows all about my daughter. He's not in the house anymore. Like, he's a neutral party at this point, contact him. Reached out to him today. Basically 5-minute conversation. My son's like, yeah, she's a fucking bitch. No, she's always been a bitch. She's a raging bitch. She has anger management issues. Like, I guarantee you my mom did not lay hands on her like how she's saying. Because now all of a sudden she has mysterious scratches and bruises on her body. That this is how dumb these kids are, okay? This is how fucking dumb. You don't think when the cops asked you the first time
they would see that?
They would see that or not? You tell them and they take photos. I know that because I've been a victim before and I have case files where they have photos of me and bruises and shit. So like I'm not dumb, right? And now all of a sudden mysteriously this shit has like... So now she's still playing the victim in Arizona, still basically trying to get me in trouble and put me behind bars. For whatever reason, we don't know, other than she hates me so much with a passion because she's been manipulated so bad that she just doesn't even know right now. She doesn't even know.
That's insane.
Yep. And that just happened this weekend. And this week.
And now we're at Thursday.
And now we're at Thursday. Welcome to Thursday.
Yo.
Thirsty Thursday. Yeah.
Wow.
I told you I was going to tell you some shit.
That's insane. And I'm over here like, have a good weekend.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, me too. Okay.
Come back with a fun story.
Yeah. And I was like, I got a story for you. I got one for you.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's been an eventful week.
Gnarly shit. Yeah, honestly, like everybody's really checked in on me, and they've asked me like, "How are you doing?" Like, you know, my older brother has checked in on me. My son has checked in on me. Thank God. You know, everybody has been so super supportive around me that like knows, except for the stepdad. And I know it's because he feels guilty because he created that person. He really did. Like
he's probably like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like the guy that invented COVID.
Yeah.
He's like, I was not that serious.
Right? But here's the thing is that in order to be able to self-reflect and see where you went wrong, you have to take ownership of like your life's inventory, right? So like this isn't just I was fucking pissed off at the mom, so I turned the daughter maliciously against her because like, and he, regardless if he knew what he was doing or not, you know, I'm going to put that aside for a second, right? I'm going to hope and pray and say that he didn't know what he was doing, but I don't know. It goes deeper. Like you are that way with me because why? Because it stems from, let's peel back the onions. What's going on from your past with not just your past relationships, but your mom and your sister and your dad. And what did that family dynamic look like? And that's what's happening is that he's got to go back and he really needs therapy on his own to figure out why he ticks the way that he does and why he treats me the way that he does and thinks that it's okay. Like you don't look at somebody and say, because you don't make an X amount, a dollar amount, that you're nothing. Like, and that's kind of how he looks at people. Like it's all about title and how many zeros they have on their paycheck. And then he'll respect you a little bit. But if you come to him and you're like, yeah, I'm a whatever, AT&T specialist or whatever, he's gonna be like, oh, this fucking idiot. Not realizing that guy might have a fucking master's degree but can't get a job because the job is saturated, the market's saturated right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like such a narrow, we are so opposite. And the longer that we've been together, the more I realize just how we have grown apart and we are not the same people. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't be the same people. You should be evolving and you should be growing and getting better. But at the same time, your person should be supporting you and growing at the same time, right? Like if you're stalling and you're stagnant, what are you doing for me? Really, what are you doing for me? You're not helping me. He
probably thinks he's waiting for you.
Yeah.
He's just like, come on.
Yeah. Because he sees me as a dollar amount.
Yeah.
Like she's not successful yet because her business isn't that successful yet because she's not making X amount of money. When in reality, I got my license December of 2019. By December, and I opened my business immediately, right? And couldn't work on anybody because of COVID, right? So an entire year, what did I do? I sold product, I educated, and I marketed myself on social media. Right? Did all the things. And you know what? In my industry, we have a magazine. It's called Dermoscope Magazine, and it is the oldest magazine in history for my profession. They published me as one of the top 45 top estheticians nationwide.
Nationwide, boy. Put some respect.
Nationwide.
Tiffany's name.
To know with these other people in the profession that own the skincare company that I use in my treatment room. Like, I'm on that level of being recognized in my industry. And this guy totally dismisses it.
Because it's not enough zeros.
It's not enough.
Damn.
I have built my business by referral base only. Word of mouth. I have done basically zero marketing other than the social media little, stuff that I do. But it is all based off of results. I am a results-driven esthetician, and you can see when your face is glowing and shiny and clear and all the things, you don't think somebody's going to ask, like, what are you doing? You're glowing. Like, oh, I look like a glazy donut. Yeah, so that's my esthetician.
I look like the final scene of a porn scene.
Yes. KY all over the face. And I promise he didn't spit at me. Yeah. I mean, like, I have accomplished a lot in a short amount of time of my life, and I've done it with just constant shit being thrown at me left and right, on top of the women that hate me, right? Like, on top of the men that hate me because
men hate you
because I won't sleep with them.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because I won't sleep with them. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, she's a fucking bitch. And I'm like, bro, like, I could be your wing girl. Like, I am one of the guys. Like, I get put in the friend zone quicker than I friend zone people, because guys don't want to lose me because they're like, this girl's fucking cool as shit. Like, we want her as a friend. Like, okay, we know we can't fuck her, but we want her as a friend. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, she's off limits, but like, maybe one day, but like, I still want her as a friend. Who knows? Yeah. Like, and not only that, but like, I can joke around with the best of them, as you can clearly see. Like, I'm a guy in a woman's body. I was reincarnated, I think. I'm Bill with tits. My brother's so proud of that, by the way.
Bill with tits.
Bill with tits. So it just, life has been, I've been life-in, and life has been life-in, and I have really put a smile on my face. And like I said, this goes as a true testament. Don't ever judge a book by its cover, because you really don't know, And even though I have a smile on my face, and this was a really sad thing, because I ended a friendship of 10 years because the friend couldn't support me. You're posting selfies all the time and you've changed. And I'm like, yeah, I have changed. Yeah, I'm back to the person that I used to be 20 years ago. And even physically, like, I'm better and I'm healthier and I'm wiser, and you don't like that, and you are threatened, and you're threatened by my looks, and you're threatened by my smarts now, and you don't like that, because before you were just Tiffany that like had like this little hobby that like, whatever, and I'm over here in this position making X amount of money, and now all of a sudden, what's happening? This chick is coming to me and she's paying me $150 an hour.
She's like, not even the homie hookup? No.
But think about it. Like, as a woman, when you think that you're above somebody else for so long, and then you realize like, fuck, I'm paying her for a service an hour more than I get paid. Like, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody that is a hater,
just people in
general, but somebody that's a hater and that's not really truly supporting you, they're going to show their hate. That's when the colors come out, right? Instead of being my friend and saying, oh my God, girl, I'm so proud of you, I support you. No, what did she do? She did the opposite. She canceled all appointments. She stopped buying product. She was like, no. She stopped inviting me to friend things.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I mean, it got like fucking gnarly. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was telling me that I shouldn't be posting selfies of myself on my business page. Like, you have to market yourself. Like, you have to network. Like, like, do you think that people are just going to just come to me naturally? Like, first of all, I don't even have storefront. I am tucked away, hidden away in a building that nobody even knows that I'm there. So how do I get business if I don't have a storefront and people can't see me?
No walk traffic.
No walking traffic at all. But yet last year, so my business is in the college area, SDSU business district. And I made history last year with my business because I didn't win, but I made history. I was the first business to ever be nominated for Business of the Year with no storefront.
Damn, look at you.
I didn't win, but the fact that I was nominated is an honor in itself. I will take that.
And I win this year.
And this year, who knows what will happen this year, right? So now I got a magazine under my belt. I got results. I got clientele. I'm doing the do.
Got haters.
I got haters. That's fine. Yeah. Haters gonna hate, right? But realize at the end of the day, like, I will still be your cheerleader. You might be hating on me, but I'm still going to be there clapping you on because I want the best for you. At the end of the day, I want the best for everybody. We all have our different lives. We all have our different roads that we go down. And there's a thing called free will, right? We free will make the choices that we make. And that's why we end up where we are. And many of times in my life, I had that free will choice to go down that different path, like you talked about earlier, because I could have been resentful and I could have been hateful and spiteful and said, fuck people because they fucked me over my entire life and fuck men. And, and I didn't. And I've never done that. And I've always just continued to come from a place of love and stay in my own fucking lane. And look at how that's worked out for me.
Thriving. Hair's glowing, skin smooth. Shit.
Thank you. Everything happens for a reason. And we talked about this earlier. And I am spiritually gifted. And I had mentioned this to you earlier. Yeah. I am spiritually gifted. And I've always known that something was different. Like I've always listened to my gut instinct and I've always it's done right by me. And I'll give you an example where I was younger, right? And senior year of high school, and my girlfriends and we all drove together in one car all the time to school. We always ditched first period. First period was like one of those bullshit classes. I had choir. Like all I had to do was show up for the performances and sing and I'd pass. Like no big deal, right? The night before, I called my mom and I said, listen, I need you to take me to school in the morning. I got to go to first period. And my mom, being the fucking bitch that she is, and I don't say that lightly, that's being nice, being real nice, tells me, catch a ride. You got your friends, catch a bus. Do me a favor. Be a fucking parent for 1 second. I already don't live with you. I'm asking you to do your parental duties and come and fucking pick me up and take me to school so that I can actually be there. And she's, okay, fine, right? Ends up doing it. I get out of first period, and this is before cell phones, mind you. Right, I told you, 2001. And everybody's like, Tiffany, oh my God, you're here. Oh, you're okay. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, yeah. I was like, what is going on? Like, yeah, I'm here. Like, you didn't hear? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear. What's going on? Oh my God. Brittany and Colleen got in a car accident. And I'm like, what? Those are the girls I lived with. All three of us normally mobbed together. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, like, we don't know the details yet. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, oh my God, gotta go to second period. You're like, oh my God, come out of second period. Finally now, girls are at school. And now we find out what happened, right? Where I'm from, I went to Fresno High School. It is the oldest high school, right? Cher actually went there. Oh, okay. Fun fact. One of the main roads getting down there, it used to rain a lot there, agriculture, Central Valley, California. The street goes like this, very arched, so that the rain can go down into the gutters, right? 4 lanes, 2 going this way, 2 going this way. Friend decides end lane, where the dip is, to take it at like 60 miles an hour. Okay? Firebird.
Yeah.
96 Firebird. 97 Firebird. Hits the dip the wrong way. Fishtails. Hits a fucking tree, bounces like a ping pong ball off of that tree across all 4 lanes and smashes into another tree. So what happened was the passenger side was dented in because that's where it hit the first tree. Driver's side dented in this way. That's where it hit the second tree. Finally came to a stop at the second tree, kind of wrapped around it. Both of the girls landed on each other on the center console because the seatbelt snapped. And the back seat, come to find out, which one of us would have been sitting there, weren't bolted down. So a Firebird has the hatchback, right? That seat went through that window, whoever would have been sitting there would have had their neck snap, killed instantly, or they said all three of us would have collided and we all three would have died. Something had told me the night before in my gut instinct that I needed to go to school. Something told me that. And I listened and it saved my life. And that's just one. I think the guy walking up to the trunk and that there's multiple, you know what I'm saying? Like there's multiple times that I have been like, you know, finally it was a couple years ago. I think it was my first year actually out of aesthetic school having my business. So 2020, we were watching a Padre game. So I have issues with mom. Moms have issues with me. It's not a me thing. It's a her thing. She is jealous because that's stepdad, by the way. So she had a tumultuous relationship with stepdad's dad, right? So they did not get along and she sees in him what she wishes she had. So by fault, she's jealous already, right? She be like, girl. Jealous already. This woman, this is how hurtful this woman is, okay? She would go out of her way to say things to just jab at me. She looked at me point blank one time and said, yeah, Christmas time, holiday time, we have like friends and family there, okay? So he had one of his friends there with his new girlfriend who happens to be German, blonde hair, blue eyed, right? And she looks at me and she says, yeah, well, I never expected my son to end up with somebody that looks like you.
The fuck? Pretty?
Right. Thank you. I was like, okay. And I said, what is that supposed to mean? She goes, well, you know, just like, you know, doesn't look like you, like more like her. Blonde hair, blue eyed, you know, pretty. This is how I figured out that I had a different level of gift, right? We're watching the Padre game and she's there. And at this point, I'm just kind of irritated. I'm watching the TV and I can hear her talking to my baby, her granddaughter. And she's like, so my daughter's got her like, you know, little tablet thing out or iPad or whatever it's called, you know, the kid-friendly one, right? The one that I can control.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I can control. It has parental control locks, right? And she's like got the camera on, you know, and she's like taking pictures. And so I hear the mom go, oh yeah, go ahead and take another picture of me. Oh yeah, you know. And when she said that in that moment, I'm watching the TV, but I can hear what's going on. I got a download. And that was the very first time that like I've ever had something like that heavy happen to me. And it was a download, meaning like I heard a voice. It was not a man's voice. It was not a woman's voice. It was not my own voice. It was a voice that came through with a message and it was very clear. And the message was, you will not see her like that again.
See who like that again?
Exactly. The mom.
Oh.
And she has bad health issues. So I'm over here like, is she going to fucking die? Like, what did I just hear? Like, what, like I had to, when it happened, like, mind you, like, this is exactly me. I'm watching TV and it happens and I'm like
a physical voice?
A physical voice. And I'm like, whoa, like it was so, apparently I turned pale as a ghost. And I looked over and dad at this point is looking at me because I'm looking fucking sideways. And he goes, are you okay? And I'm like, I got the chills right now. Like, I don't know what to tell him, right? So I'm just like, yeah, I don't really feel that good. Like, I'm gonna go upstairs for just a second. I go upstairs. I talk to the 17-year-old, right? At the time, I immediately go in her room. And I'm like, you will never guess. And she's like, what? And so then I tell her. And she's just looking at me like I'm weird. But she knows that I've been able to predict shit and that I've known shit and that I shouldn't know. Like, how do you, like, she's looked at me and she's like, Mom, how do you know that? And I'm like, I don't know how I fucking know. Like, I don't know, right? Like, I can't explain it. And so I'm looking at her and she's just kind of looking at me sideways. And I'm like, this is what I heard. Like, I don't know how to process that, right? A week later, we get a phone call from her that there's an accident and that she's fallen and it's something to do with her eye. And we're like, what the fuck? Come to find out, she ended up, I know what happened because I ended up seeing a vision later of what happened. She's self-inflicted. And she's self-inflicted because she's been on fucking pain medication, popping pills for years.
She wanted to keep him going.
And she wanted sympathy from her son. And she's been trying to move into my fucking house thinking that she can be the nanny forever. And I'm like, fuck no, bitch, you're crazy and you can't cure crazy. That's why your husband left you. Like, no. Like, I already know how that turns out because I see it already in that generation. I don't want it for this generation, right? Like, I'm still fighting for my relationship to work.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, she says she doesn't remember what happened, but she says that she fell and she thinks that she hit obviously something that punctured her eyeball and pushed it back into her head. It went back in her socket where they ended up having to like kind of take a balloon and like blow it back up to push it forward. But all of everything in there is so fucked up that like now she's blind in one eye. Like it's totally not of use. So we were all obviously very concerned on like what happened, how did it happen? Like nobody could figure out, paramedics couldn't happen. Brother and sister, which are her kids, go to the house. They're like looking around trying to figure out what the fuck happened, right? My other half gets on a call with the doctors, right? Because the doctors at this point are like trying to figure out like how the fuck what happened because they don't know. And it was recorded. It was a recorded conversation. And so he gave it to me to listen to because I asked him, I said, hey, did you guys talk to the doctors today? Like what happened? And he's like, oh, well, it's a recorded conversation. You can listen to it. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, here you go. So I go up in private and I'm listening to it and I'm listening to it and I have to like rewind and replay and rewind and replay. And by the third time, because I can't hear. And by the third time, I close my eyes and I'm listening to what the doctor's asking her because they're asking pertinent questions. They got 3 specialists all for different parts of the eye that they got to figure out because she might have to go into surgery in order to even save her eyeball because they don't know, right? You don't know until you get in there, right? Like surgery, you don't know until you get in there. So they're asking all the questions and she's like, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall, like blah, blah, all this stuff, right? And so then the doctor like kind of scolds her, the one doctor, and he's like, you know, if you would have been wearing your glasses like how you should because they're fucking Coke bottle thick, like you're already blind, you need to wear them. And you're telling me that you're getting out of the shower and you can't see and, you know, it's all foggy. And like, I mean, literally he's saying this to her. And she immediately stops him. And this is where people fuck up when they lie because they don't realize, right? And she's like, oh no, I had my glasses on. And he's like, really?
So
right. So he's like, if you would have had your glasses on, he literally said this, if you would have had your glasses on, they would have prevented whatever went into your eye to go into your eye to puncture it. That is a natural safeguard.
Yeah.
And she knew she was caught.
A bruise or something.
And she knew she was caught. Or they would have been having to pull the fucking lens out of her eye, right? Yeah. So at that point, she knew she was caught. And in that moment, I rewound it and played it again and rewound it and played it again because I needed to listen to it, right? I needed to hear her. Close my eyes. I listened to it. Fucking another download. This time, it's different. I have a visual download this time. So I'm clairvoyant, which I can see kind of the future. I can predict things that, like I said, that I shouldn't really be able to know. I've been able to, for my clients, by the way, side note, to predict engagements, new jobs, babies. Like I help my clients on a different level, on a spiritual level. When they come to me, it's not just for this, it's beauty from the inside out. And so they know that now. And I have readings. Like I let them pick whatever music they want because it communicates, spirit communicates through lyrics for me. And I'll hear a song and something will resonate and we'll start talking, chopping it up about whatever conversation. And then whatever it is that we're talking, whatever advice or whatever that I can give to them, I don't even know that I'm even giving it to them in that moment. They can take that and they resonate with it. And that's their tower light bulb moment. And they're like, holy shit, that makes total sense right now. Like, oh my God. And then I help them and I don't even know how it is that I'm helping them, but I can help them, which is pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing gift. So anyway, so I see it now and I'm like, this chick from what I saw, and it's the only thing that makes sense. And I've actually spoken to two doctors about it that are my clients. And they're like, it's the only thing that actually makes logical sense. She took that doorknob and smashed it in her eyeball and self-inflicted. To get long-term oxycodone.
That's extremely painful.
But when you're all hopped up on fucking drugs and you've been hopped up on drugs for so long, right? You'll do anything. You'll do anything.
For the fix.
Yo. So that was kind of like an opening moment for me of like, wow, this is fucking weird. And if I wouldn't have said what I said in that moment to my daughter, then nobody would believe me, right? Like, but because I said it, like I heard this. And then a week later, she physically she'll never look the same. And that's what Spirit was telling me. Take a picture while it's going to last because she's not going to look the same.
Damn.
And I'm like, whoa, fucking deep, huh? So super deep. So since then, I have been getting downloads little by little for people. I have been able to gauge people and their authenticity, and are they real for me? Are they bad for me? Like that vibe, that whole aura thing, like it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I can feel if you have ill will towards me, and I will skirt over here. Like I will keep you at a distance. I always tell everybody this analogy, like with friendships or whatever. If somebody burns you, right? Like I take everybody as like, you are a tea kettle on that first burner. You're right here. I'm going to give you that benefit of that doubt, right? Motherfucker, you burn me. I'm going to put you back on that back burner. I'm going to turn you down a little low. And I'm going to watch you and I'm going to observe. And eventually, maybe over time, right? I can forgive. I'll never forget. But I'll bring you back up to the burner. And let's try again. And if you burn me again, bitch, I'm fucking throwing you away. I am throwing your ass away.
Yeah.
Garbage. Straight garbage. So since then, I have really been able to kind of like weed through the bullshit with stuff, you know, and see who really has good intent or malice intent. Well, now in rolls 2021, I meet my twin flame.
Your twin flame.
Twin flame.
Okay. So when she told me twin flame, you guys know what kind of conversations I've had on here. So when I hear twin flame, I'm like, twin flame? A flame? A fling? Twins? I'm always looking for twins,
right? Who's got the G-string? Who's got the whip? Like,
got the chain,
handcuffs, like all them things.
Like it's a DP. Like, what are we talking about? Twin flame? That's not what she had in mind.
No,
at all.
Not at all.
Not even close.
Sounds like a good time though. Sounds like a Hollywood party.
Sounds like a sweaty time.
Sounds like sounds messy. A little messy.
A little bit.
A little messy.
Smelly. A little smelly.
Yeah, I don't do that.
No.
I'm very cleanly. I mean, look at my profession. Like,
yeah.
So now twin flame. Okay, so really quickly, anybody can Google it. You can go on high level overview of twin flame. So everybody knows for the most part about soulmates. I kind of educated you a little bit on soulmates. Mm-hmm. There's different levels of soulmates, right? So anybody that you come in contact in life is considered to be technically a soulmate, right? Here's where the twin flame is different. People are like, oh, I want to be with my soulmate. Oh, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I hope you find a soulmate. You got lots of them. A twin flame is literally the other half of your soul. So high level.
Like your match.
It is your match.
It's your match.
High level. We are but a soul in a body, right? We're here on earth. God sends us down to earth when we are ready, when he says that we're ready to come back and revisit those lessons that we didn't learn in past lives, right? We're bigger than the universe is the universe, right? Like earth and people are just so minute. We know that there's UFOs out there. We know that there's other things out there. We know that. That's been proven now, right? God or whoever your God is, whoever you believe in, the higher power, it exists. There is a roadmap plan for us, and we just have to follow our gut, follow our intuition, and listen to it, and it'll lead you where you're supposed to go, right? If you are fortunate enough, because this is not for everybody. There is, I guess I read this somewhere, it's like right now on Earth, there is only maybe 1 million twin flames. that actually come down, that God sends down, or whoever sends down back, back down.
But what are the odds of meeting each other?
But what are the odds of you meeting each other, right? A twin flame is when you're up here, your soul has a purpose, right? But your soul splits into two, and it comes down reincarnated in two different bodies, yin and yang. But your soul knows your soul, right? You can recognize yourself in somebody else. It is a very hard road. I do not wish it upon anybody. It is brutal. It is toxic at times. Sometimes you're not meant to be with your twin flame. You're meant to meet your twin flame so that they trigger and ignite in you what it is that you need to do to see in yourself to change and become a better person. So it's not all love and glory and ooh, right? It's a brutal process. Because when you meet that person, they're triggering in you. You see in them what you don't like in yourself.
Oh.
It's deep. It's very deep. But you know it's your person because there's things that tell you. Like there's always a runner and a chaser. Most men are the runner. Most women are the chaser because most women are more awake spiritually and open-minded to understanding. And we love first, right? We love. And most men are like, oh, we fuck, right? We smash. So we chase after. And then at some point, the chaser stops chasing and says, fuck this. Like, I'm going to work on myself because they have a tower moment. Because at some point, the runner hurts them in some way, some capacity, shape, or form. And you realize in that moment, like, I'm too fucking good for this, right? Like, I don't need to be doing all this. There's plenty of dick out there I can get. I don't need this one. It might have not even been that good, right?
Right.
I mean, if it's my twin, I know how good I am, and they're fucking amazing. I'm just saying, like, I told you.
Hair flip.
I told you, lady in the street, freaking the sheets. I have had no complaints, good sir. I met him, and I knew instantly there was something about him that just, it's like, and I read this, when your souls meet each other, that's what's going to happen. One's going to recognize and the other one's not. And I recognized who he was to me. And it's unconditional love on a different level. And when I say unconditional love, I'm telling you the fuckery that this guy put me through. Like, as a friend, okay?
Oh.
As a friend, the fuckery that this guy put me through. And I was still there like, I am here for you unconditionally. You know, I will love you. I will be here. Because I knew who he was. And it's deeper. It's like his names are the names of my family. His history is intertwined, like similar to my history. We grew up very similar. Like he has a tattoo on him with a word that means something very deep to me that nobody would know. His animal's name is like, there's just too many things. We live within a 7-mile radius of each other, and we never cross paths.
Wow.
We went to the same banks. We literally 7 miles, right? Like, how is that? That's crazy to think that, right? Like, how do you not run into this person for years? Mind you, he moved to San Diego from the East Coast. I moved to San Diego from up north. It was around the same time frame. And we've always lived 7 miles away from each other.
That's wild.
And on top of that, with each move that I made, because he's still been in the same spot, I've moved closer and closer and closer to him. And it wasn't until this one by fate chance that I met him. And I'm like, no fucking way. There's no way. And I told him from the jump, I said, I know who you are. And it scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
It totally scared the shit out of him. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think he knew. Yeah. He knew that we had a deeper connection. And it's not just because, oh God, this chick is fucking crazy and she wants my junk, or like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't about that. It was because I was able to predict things for him that there's nobody else that could, like, I knew shit that like his mom, prime example. He does not have the relationship with his mom that's like, I'm going to call you on the weekends and stuff like that. Like, they haven't seen each other in fucking years. I had a dream one night about his mom specifically. And I came in the next day and I was like, hey, when's the last time you like talked to your mom or saw your mom? And he's like, I don't know. It's been a while. And I go, you don't talk to her on the daily? He's like, fuck no. And I'm like, You don't have a relationship like that? Like, I didn't know him like that, right? And he's like, no, he's like, you know, and I go, well, why don't you like go out and visit her? Like, go visit her. He's like, Tiff, I am not going back east in the fucking winter. Like, no. And I'm like, well, why don't you bring her out here? She doesn't take a vacation. And I'm like, okay, but like, it's been 6 years since you've seen each other.
Damn, that's a long time.
It's a long time. I'm like, don't you think? And he's like, no. And I'm just like, okay, well, you know, whatever. Like, bebop on my day, right? 3 days later, this guy comes up to me and he's giddy in the hallway and he's like, Tiff, oh my God, guess what? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yo, my mom called me. And I go, really? And he goes, and she's like, mijo, I'm going to come out and visit you for a little bit. Is that okay? Can I stay with you? I need a vacation.
That's creepy.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It fucking creeped him out because he was like, whoa, now this is different. And I told him from me, I'm like, listen, I'm gifted. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm gifted. So then I predicted a couple other things for him. Like, if you're going to be community dick and you have a girlfriend, like, clean up your phone.
Shh, allegedly.
But we know it's facts.
No, don't do my boy like that. I don't even know him. My fellow brethren.
They're not together anymore.
Okay, go ahead.
Continue. They're not together anymore. They were in the process of actually separating, right?
Okay.
So he was already in the process of like trying to fucking figure it out, right? But at the same time, he was fiddling with my heart.
At least just your heart.
Fiddle. Fiddle. Which is fucked up though, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's really fucked up, especially when like we are in such work close proximity and you are now intertwined like with my kids and like they see you on the daily basically. And like, you're like my work husband. You know what I'm saying? Like you, like, this is different. Like, and you're going to fuck me over like this. Like, this is not cool. Like, and he knows and he'll own it eventually, maybe one day, like what he did and how he treated me and how I just didn't deserve any of that. And even to this day, I'm like, I will always love you unconditionally, but I will love you from afar because if you are still doing that fuckery, I can't have that around me.
Yeah.
Like I can't, right? So I made the hard choice after months of like, and it was I just stopped talking to him. Mm. I literally went cold. I went Aquarius and just fucking shut it down. And like, it was awkward as fuck. You know, I'd walk in the hallways and like, it wouldn't be the, hey guys, hi. Like it was awkward. It was weird. And he made it even weirder. And then he left, which was great. And I was like, fine. Because I loved him so much. And somebody else had asked me like, you know, like, what's the deal? And I said, listen, I'm not going to go into the details, right? Like, that's our business. But I love this man so much because I know who he is. And I recognize that. My soul recognizes that. But I love him so much. And I get the saying now because we know the saying and we've heard it before. If you love somebody so much that you're willing to let them go. And I understood it now. It made sense. I love him so much as a person, but I want the best for him. But I know that he's not healthy and in a good place for me right now. That this isn't good, that I got to love you so much that I got to let you go. And I did. A year and some change. Haven't spoken.
Still.
Defriended me. He unfollowed me. Like he couldn't handle it. Like he watched my, you know, stories for a little bit and then it finally just like got too much for him and he was just like done. So this whole time, right? A year and some change, I've been getting downloads and I hear songs and I hear lyrics. And I know it's him. I know it's him communicating with me because I can feel it. I can feel his energy. I can feel his presence. It's weird. It's very hard to explain, but the people that know it will understand it and they can relate and they'll be like, oh yeah, we totally, like, we get it. Like, we get it. And it was hard because it was not easy. And this is why I say it was not an easy experience because I went through all of those fucking roller coasters of emotions by myself. Can't talk to anybody, right? Because this is something that I feel, but who the fuck am I going to share it with?
JONA.
Right? I mean, my clients, there was a couple clients that like, you know, they kind of knew what was going on because they felt the energy, they felt the shift, like they knew and they're like, what the fuck, you know? this whole time, I'm seeing signs and I'm waking up in middle of the night, and I'm having downloads and all of a sudden one night, this song comes to me in my head because I told you music comes to me, and it's like 3:00 in the morning, which by the way, 3 and 4 o'clock for spiritually gifted people is like kind of like the bewitching hour where it's like your mind is open enough to get those downloads. So for months on end, I'm just fucking there. Like, I can't sleep. I'm awake. Like, I'm just thinking, processing all the things, right? The signs are there. You just got to be able to understand. And like, I've never seen this show, but people have told me that the Jersey lady that is the New Jersey medium or something like that, the one with the big blonde hair, swoops or whatever, she explained it the best. And she said, everybody's different and everybody gets their downloads different. And it's up to you to kind of like write everything down of what it means to you, because that's your Bible. So if you see in a vision an owl, you know that an owl associates with this, right? Like, it's kind of like hieroglyphics in a way, type of thing. You decipher the code and what makes sense to you, right? And so I'm starting to do that now. I'm starting to understand when I see this, I know what that means, and kind of so on and so forth. So I get this song and I wake up in the middle of the night and all I hear is like just this one part of the lyric that keeps repeating. And I'm like, I don't fucking know this song, like, but I'm going to Google it. Come to find out, it's an Ed Sheeran song and it's called Happier. And it was exactly the scenario that just played out a couple weeks earlier. And here's what happened. We all hang out every once in a while after we get off work because we're barbers and we're hairstylists and we're estheticians, right? And we go to the local spot and we hang out and we have a beer every once in a while and decompress, right? It's our local watering hole. I stopped going for a while because we all go there. And I decided one night I was fucking tired and I just wanted to have a beer and I wanted to relax. And the Stanley Cup was on and the Dodger game was on and I wanted to watch it because it's playoffs and I like sports. So I go into the spot and the bar's filled and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, 2 guys happen to turn around at the same time and they see me. And the one guy right away is like, oh, do you want to sit? Oh, well, let me get you a chair. Pulls a chair from a separate table. And he's like, here you go. Puts me right in between them both. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool beans, right? So I sit down. And they're not together, actually. This guy's watching the Stanley Cup. And this guy is watching the baseball. And so I'm over here watching this and I'm watching that. And baseball's tied 8-8, right? And as soon as I sit down and I order my Corona, fucking hit, 2 runs come in. Dodger fan next to me goes, you're good luck. You're not going anywhere. Stay right here. I'm going to buy her a beer. And I was like, no, thank you, good sir. I'll buy my own beer because I don't want to feel like I owe anybody, right? Like anything. Like, no, I'm good. I'll buy my own drinks. Thank you. So I'm like, no, I'm cool. So I'm sitting there and I'm chopping it up, with them. And all of a sudden I look through the bar and I see him and I hear him. And he doesn't see me and he doesn't know that I'm there. And I look over and all I see is this older woman, like my mom's age, just hanging all over him. And he's just eating this shit up, right? And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just disgusted with it at this point. I am truly like, ew. Like, ew. Okay. I see you. I see how you're moving. Like, cool. You do you, boo. I'm going to continue and chop it up and have a conversation. This guy's making me laugh. I'm laughing. I clearly have a voice that's very distinct. Like it's me. I can be in Target and somebody can hear me 3 aisles over and they're like, oh, Tiffany's present. I'm like, oh, present. He finally hears me. He connects. He ends up like kind of shooing her away because the next thing I look over and she's like moseying back to the other end of the bar, right? And he's just kind of like,
too late, sir.
Exactly. Too late. Too late. But he don't know what I saw, right? So now at this point, this chick walks into the bar and sits next to Dodger fan, right? And I took a second glance at her because I thought she was the chick that I found out that he's been trying to get at. Because she looked just like her. And I was like, how fucking awkward is this? Like, this is going sideways real quick. she reaches in like through the guy and goes, "Excuse me, do you mind watching my drink really quickly while I go to the restroom?" And I said, "Oh, honey, absolutely. Hi, my name is," and then I realized, okay, this isn't the girl because it's a different name.
She would, I was going to say, but would she know who you are?
No.
Okay.
No,
you know who she would be.
I know who she is, right?
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I mainly kind of pulled away, because I realized, like, dude, you are literally shitting and eating where we all are. Like, this is not cool. Like, I own a business and you're trying to fuck around with this girl and we all know each other and it's just messy. It's real messy. I don't like it. Not for me. I realize it's not the same girl. And I'm like, oh, absolutely. Sure. Regardless if it was the same girl, I would have done it, or, watched her drink. But it's not the same girl. So I'm like, okay, God. Grab her drink, put the coaster on it in front of me. She goes to the bathroom. We're watching the game, whatever. Homeboy ends up leaving. Dodger game ends, right? So she comes back and she slides over into his seat. And she goes, "Don't look, but the guy across the bar, he wants me to go over there and go hang out with him and his friend." And I look at her and I go, "Who?" And she's all, "Don't look. The guy in the backwards black hat." And I go,
Was it him?
Mm-hmm. I said, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, he's the one that just bought me that shot right now." This motherfucker.
While you're sitting there, the disrespect
broke my heart. Had the audacity
to buy this
chick a fucking and send it across the bar to her. And specifically, the bartender said, "It's from that guy in the black hat over at the bar."
While you're sitting next to
While
him.
I'm sitting there. But at the time that he did it, she was actually sitting next to homeboy.
Oh, so he was being double disrespectful.
Double.
Because he doesn't know that that's not her man.
And he wasn't banking on her fucking sliding over and then having conversation with me. And let me tell you, she watched him the entire time that her and I were chopping it up, having conversation. And I never, not once looked over, and she said he was fucking sweating bullets. He was watching our conversation the whole time.
Trying to read lips.
He was, like, right? And so then I like let out a big laugh at some point in time. And that's when apparently he like snuck out the back. And the reason why I let out that big laugh is because I said, "Oh, yeah, I know who that is."
Oh, you low-key hated. You low-key hated, bro.
I'm not going to lie.
You low-key
I'm
hated.
not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and try to lie
Hater.
to you. Not going to lie. This is what I said. I said, "Yeah, so I know that guy. He actually works right across the way from me. And I mean, it's your choice on what you'd like to do. But
You hated.
I did. But you know what? Have fun with that. Just like that. Have fun with that." And she goes, "Wait, what's his name? Wait. Hold on. I knew he looked familiar." And I'm like, "But you just told me that you just moved back 2 weeks ago from Texas. And this is only like your third time in this bar. What do you mean you know him? Does he also work at something or other?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you do know him." And she's like, "Oh, 5 years ago, he dated my best friend and I met him at the club."
Damn.
And I was like, "Oh my God." She goes, "Oh my God." And this is where I busted up in hysterics laughing. She goes, "Oh my God, he just got a brand new truck at the time. And I remember he was like so proud of it. And like we were going home and leaving from the club and I fucking yacked all over the back seat." I looked at her and I said, "You know what, honey? I'm going to tell you right now. Karma is real. The universe does work in mysterious ways, because what are the odds that you would come in here at all nights and tell me this story and this correlation happened? I needed to hear this. I needed to hear how much of a shitty person he actually is right now, to just like be that line in the sand of like, I'm done. I'm really, really done now."
Was this before you started like ignoring him?
This was that month that I started ignoring him.
Okay, so you had already started ignoring him.
I had already started ignoring him, and he was pissed. Yeah, and he was pissed about it. Because now I shunned him. He gets all the pussy. What do you mean? He's got the girls coming. He's got a roster
Stop burning my man's out like this.
No, he's got a no, but I mean in a good way. Like the homeboy's got a rust, right? It hurt his ego to know that I walked away. He didn't make the final call. I made the final call by saying, no, not for me. Not for me. And that burned him. And so then she tells me this story and I'm like, wow. And then she proceeds to tell me the story about the girl that I thought she was, right? And how he has been pursuing her. Apparently the week earlier, she had went to the bar and he was sitting at the same place at the end of the bar. Homegirl was in the middle. She was sitting next to her. They don't know each other. This girl cries in hysterics, busts out in like tears at the bar when he gets up and walks away. She looks at her and goes, are you okay? What's wrong? Homegirl finally like says, that guy that just left, he broke my heart. He pursued me for months and months and months. And then I finally let him hit it and he fucking ghosted me. And now he's sitting at the bar and he's not even talking to me. Like,
oh, he's a fuck boy.
He's a fuck boy.
Mm-hmm. Is he a barber?
Yep.
Of course.
Yep. Nailed it.
Oh,
so
damn.
now, which I go back to how I knew he was my person is because even down to the physical appearance of like, I mean, down to like the freckles, like that's what I've been attracted to. If I could take all the men that I've dated that have like meant something to me in some which way, and I was to like piece together my like perfect person, he would have all the physical attributes at least, which is crazy. Then you got the name on top of it, right? And it's like not just the name, it's like his last name is like, it's a different spelling, but that last name is the middle name of my son, of my brother, of my grandfather. Like it means something to me. It's a generational thing, right? And I always say like, even though I'm a woman, I should have been probably a man and I would have had that name.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's deeper. It's like there's too many things of how I know who he is to me, right? Like and he's a fuckboy. So like, why do I want to claim a fuckboy as my twin though? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because I do recognize him as my soul and I recognize what I did not like. And it wasn't me, but it's what I did not like in him that I said, I don't want to be with somebody like that. I want to be with a forever. I'm looking for 4 things. Okay. I always tell everybody it's the 4 L's that are the most important. Love, right? Love comes first. You got to love. If you love, then you can build, right? And you can build loyalty upon that because now you got love as the foundation. And with loyalty and with love comes legacy. And you can build your legacy together. And when you got all 3 of those, you're going for longevity. Facts, right? That's what I'm looking for. And he can't give that to me. And I know he can't give that to me. And he knows that he can't give that to me. So I walked away. So now we're correlating like, oh my God, this is the same dude. Like she's telling me all the stories. It's reiterating to me like he's not healthy enough to be around me right now. Like I need him to come back to me eventually in life when he's healthy enough to come back to me where we can like be cool and like, if we're not together, we're not together. That's totally fine. Like I said, twin flames sometimes aren't meant to be together, but we were meant to meet, to ignite the ignition, to spark us, to put us in the better direction, to better ourselves, to become our best versions. Mm-hmm. So I've been for the past year working on myself to do so, right? Hoping and praying that he's doing the same thing. But I don't know because we don't have contact. So now this year happens and I want to go to New Orleans for my birthday. It's my 40th birthday. And I've always wanted to go there. It's on my bucket list.
This year. Already happened.
February. Already happened. Yeah. And I'm like, this is like on my bucket list. This is super important to me. I don't know why, but I'm drawn to this city. I want to know the history of it. I love it. Like I love, I'm French, right? From my mom. I'm Mexican, Hispanic, Spanish from my dad. Like it's kind of a collective culture come to find out with, it really is, it's the French meets the Spanish meets now everything else, right? Down in New Orleans. And so I've been fascinated and I've always wanted to go there. And so I decided to fucking pull the trigger and do it, right? Well, I'm super nervous to go there because I know that the city and the history of the voodoo and all the things, and it's very haunted and, you know, all the things, right? So I'm a little nervous. I'm not educated enough on the voodooism and, you know, the spiritual on that side. And so the very first night that I get there, I do a walking tour of Bourbon Street and Frenchman's Quarter and all the things. And I'll tell you what, everything happens for a reason. I got the best tour guide. It was 2.5 fucking hours long. Okay. She is a local, born and bred there. She told me everything about everything. Within the first 5 minutes, I did not say 2 words. We were on the tour walking. And she turned around and she looked at me and she said, "You're spiritually gifted, aren't you?" And I'm like, mind you, stepdad, who does not believe in me and that I'm spiritually gifted, even though I've proven it to him multiple times, looks at her, looks at me and is like, what the fuck, right? And I'm just looking at him going,
Told you.
But I'm not the, I told you kind of girl. So now we're walking and she's educating me and, you know, she's like curious now and she's like, well, what are your gifts? And so I'm like, well, you know, I think it's more of like I can predict future things. And I was giving her examples and she's like, oh yeah, you're clairvoyant for the future. Like, yeah. So I'm the past. And I go, oh, okay. She's like, so let me just tell you that this is a crazy city to be in if you're gifted and you're not protected. And I'm like, what do you mean? Right? Like immediately I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, do you have crystals on you or anything? And I said, I left them all on the side of my bed. Like I honestly was going to bring them and I didn't. And she's like, here. And she like digs in her thing and she gets this big crystal and she's like, you need to have this on you. You need protection. And I'm like, really? And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, here's why. And I'm going to explain. And nobody has been able to ever explain it so perfectly than her. She said, in this city, it's the city of the dead, right? That's the city of the past. So I have to be worried of all the spirits wanting to attach to me because I am of the past, meaning I can see the past. I relive the past, right? They only know the past. They don't know the future. So with you, they don't want to fuck with you, but they want to fuck with you because they're curious. So at if any point in time during this tour, you feel like you feel sick or feel dizzy or woozy or just don't feel right, just know that there's spirits around you and they're curious. Just let me know and we'll go somewhere else and kind of get away from it. And I'm like, okay. She's like, on the tour, there's going to be one house that has a lot of deep, dark rooted history. And I physically have to stand on the other side of the street when we get to this part of the tour because it's real heavy for me. She's like, so just let me know. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're walking. And little by little, you know, and that house was owned by Nicolas Cage, by the way, which is a fucking story. That is a story there. So, and she's going to tell us the story when we get to the house, right? So now we're walking, and I just like feel this like heavy blanket over me, like a weighted blanket. Like I feel this heaviness over me. Can't explain it. I don't feel sick. I don't feel anything. I just feel heavy. And so now we're walking and I'm just like kind of like turning like, you know, this way, like we're in the street, cobblestone street, right? And there's a sidewalk here, obviously, and a sidewalk over there. And so I'm turning this way and she's standing right here and she's like kind of still walking and I'm just kind of like walking and she finally turns around and she notices and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I feel like real heavy right now. And she goes, that's the house. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I turn around, she's like, you want to come across the street with me? And I was like, yes, I do. So I walk across the street and now she educates me. She's like, there's a lot of history, a lot of darkness, a lot of, you know, killing, murders, all the things, like all the things. American Horror Story, right? Whatever season that is with Angela Bassett. It's about the voodoo queen. Angela Bassett is the voodoo queen. So watch that whole season. You're going to be fucking blown away. But that house is the main house basically in that movie.
Oh, wow.
or in that show. And so, long story short, a lot of killing, a lot of shit happened there. Nicolas Cage ended up going to New Orleans to film a movie. And when he was on set, he fell in love with the city, absolutely fell in love, ended up buying that fucking house, remodeling it, but never lived in it, bought a house in the Garden District. During that time, shit was going funky in his career. Like, we all know that. That's factual. Like, shit started going sideways, right? Bankruptcy, like all the things. They said, legend has it, is because he started fucking with that house. And on top of it, goes to show you what people that are so removed from reality because they just live up in la la land for so long can think that they can get away with anything. And like, nothing's ever going to hurt them, right? This guy decided that he loved this city so much that he wanted to be buried in Cemetery 1, the original one, where the Voodoo Queen is buried. But in order to be buried there and where he wanted to be buried, he had to move 2 plots. Nicolas Cage. Yeah. He had to move 2 plots.
Moving bodies?
Yeah, you just got it. Look at that, you had a moment there. You had a moment. He moved 2 bodies that have been there, old bodies that have been there for fucking ever, to lay his ground saying, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life, eternally. And from that moment, the whole entire city told him, do not do that. We do not think you should do that. And he did it anyways. And that shit went sideways. And bars ended up banning him. The city ended up turning against him because he became belligerent. He became obnoxious. He was stopped paying tabs. He started going through fucking divorce. He started, the movie fucking lost funding. Like, everything that you can think about that we know in that time span of Nicolas Cage. And this is all facts that you can go back and you can look. That's because of it. It all goes back to that. So he ended up filing for bankruptcy. And when you file for bankruptcy, obviously they take everything, but they can't take your death. So he still has his plots there.
Oh, fuck.
Right? Yeah, still has them there. So now she's telling us the story and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So she told me, she's like, hey, listen, are you planning on going any other places like in the city? Are you planning on doing like cemetery tours or whatever? And I told her, I was like, no, I'm fucking scared. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm nervous to be here already because I know the history. And so that's when she's like, okay, well, let me tell you, like, you're the future. Like, they're curious about you, like all the things. Right. And I'm just like, okay, all right. She's like, it'll wash through you. You'll feel it come in. You'll feel it go out. Like, you'll feel it. You'll know. And I'm just like, I don't want to feel shit. Like, I don't want to know nothing. Like, I don't need to know. Like, I'm on a need to know basis and I don't need to know. Right. Next day, let's go to Cemetery 1. I'm like, the fuck we are.
Pass.
Hard no for me. We ended up going to Cemetery 1. So Cemetery 1, like I said, the Voodoo Queen is buried there, and it is a 45-minute guided tour because of vandalism, because people go there and they vandalize. So we're walking, we do the whole tour, we get to, and she warned me, so this is what she said, if you go to any, this is the main key, if you go to any spiritually gifted places that you know, right? And she started rattling places off, right? She's like, if you go to any of these places, just know, pay your respects. And the way that you pay your respects is you take what they would have liked in this lifetime. So like, leave a cigarette, leave money, leave alcohol, leave, a flower, leave food, like say your prayers, whatever it is that you need to say, be respectful. Don't take pictures. It's very disrespectful, right? Don't Instagram, like that's not, they don't like that. They frown upon that. Don't do that. And I'm like, okay. Duly noted, right? So we get there, we get up, and the very first basic, they come to her. And so he says his little spiel. Obviously, the guy does not believe in spirituality whatsoever. You can tell by his, what he's telling us on his spiel. So now we all walk away and he's like, keep the group together, keep the group together. And so then, dude looks at me and he's like, are you going to give your blessing and stuff? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. So I dig in my pocket and I pull out, my money and I put my money down. And this is one thing that she did tell me. She's like, listen, when people ask for blessings, they're always asking for something, right? Everybody wants something. Everybody wants abundance, or they want money, or they want love, or they want something. She goes, just remember that when you're going to these places and you're asking for something and you want something, they're going to get something in return. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and you don't know what that is, but they'll get something in return. And I'm like, okay. So I had the whole night to think about it, obviously, before we went the next day. So I pay my respects, and I say what I need to say. And all I said was I gave gratitude and I gave thanks. I didn't ask for anything. I was thankful and grateful for the life that I have and where I'm at, and for the people that support me and that are around me. And I just thanked God and the spirits and everybody for protecting me my entire life, and walked off. And at the very end, we're exiting, and it's a big square. So you got to go around. And now I'm in the middle. I take 2 or 3 steps in the middle of the street getting to the rental car, right? And immediately I stop in the middle of the street. I'm off of the property of the cemetery now. And I get an overwhelming sensation of, the best way that I can describe this is, it is pregnancy, it is vertigo, it is the flu, and it is COVID all in one. Immediately rushes over me. I'm like standing there and I'm like dizzy as fuck, and I like can't think straight, and it's a fog. And he turns around and he looks at me and he's like, are you okay? I was whiter than a ghost, apparently. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't feel so good. And he's like, you don't look so good. And I'm like, I don't feel good right now. Just give me a second. Like, I just need to give me a second. So he comes over and he walks with me, and then he puts me in the car. And the minute that I get in the car, I immediately feel like I have to urinate and vomit. Like, immediately. Like, I got to do both those things. And I looked at him and I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. And he's like, why didn't you tell me you had to go? And I'm like, because I didn't feel like I had to go to the bathroom until right now, until in this moment. I got to go. And he's like, are you going to make it back to the house? I said, no, I am not going to make it back to the house. We need to go back to the ticket center, and I got to go to the bathroom over there. He's like, okay, So he drives and we pull around and we get in, and I'm running into the restroom, because at this point I'm like, I don't know if my head's going to go in the toilet or my ass is going to go in the toilet. Like, I don't know. I know what I'm feeling right now. I get in there. I decide ass first. The minute that I got done releasing, that feeling went away.
Wow.
Immediately came out for me. And I'm like, wow. Interesting. Very interesting. So now, later on that night, we go visit Louis Armstrong's park, which I was told that there is a special sacred tree there, and to do the same thing. But this tree is for the goddess of like forgiveness, of, peace, harmony, just love, like all beauty, like all things that you can think of. Peace and love, right? Not war. And so I remembered what she said. And I did the same thing. I gave my offering, and I gave gratitude, and I gave thanks, but with one small caveat. At the very end, I said to myself, right, in my prayer, please, if you can hear me, please, can we just be friends? Please. I don't want to have any more issues with you. Like, I love you. I can feel you. I can feel your spirit. I can feel your energy. Like, I'm talking to him, right? I can feel you. Can we just please squash this? Like, even if that means that we are just platonic friends, right? For the rest of our lives, can we just please be that? Tell me why 6 hours later, I woke up to a friend request on Instagram from him out of the fucking blue. After a year and some change.
Did you accept?
I did. And I screenshotted everything, because nobody would believe me unless I did it, right? And it's going to go in my book. It's going to go in my book someday. And I knew at that moment, wheels are shifting. Like, it's turning now, right? Because then guess what happens later on that night? It's my birthday now. This is my birthday. So now do I have old coming back in that I'm like, what the fuck, right? Like, what's going on? No communication other than the friend request. That's it. That same night, first of all, my birthday was a fucking shit show. It was like the worst day. Like everything and anything that could have went bad. Like it was awful. And then on top of it, the end of the night, baby daddy, right? He's had like some issues going on with his leg recently, like for the past like 6 months, right? Can't figure out what it is. Decides that it's the best moment of time to tell me that apparently he was actually diagnosed a couple months back with a very rare irony, flesh-eating skin disease.
MRSA?
No, that they don't know what it is because it is so rare that they don't even know how to cure it.
Fuck.
That is going to kill him. Because eventually what happens if they can't figure out how to suppress,
it spreads. It's
going to spread. And not only is it going to spread, but that's not what's actually going to kill him. It's going to be the poisoning of the blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to kill him. Fucking irony, right? Think about that for a second. This man never supported me in any capacity of my business. And what is killing him?
Skin disease.
Skin disease.
Fuck.
Drops that bomb on me on my birthday. And I'm like, wow, what the fuck?
If you would follow my skin routine.
Here's the sad part is that at the very beginning when shit started going down with his leg, I looked at him point blank and I said, you really need to make a schedule with a dermatologist. Like,
was it like visibly?
Oh yeah. It was like literally, I mean, it was, what happened was it blew up like, what is it called? Elephantitis, basically. Like it swelled up. His skin was expanding. And when your skin expands, it can only stretch so much. Whatever was coming.
Oh, it started
to pus out. It started to, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Listen, I've had MRSA.
Right.
I had it on my stomach and it would hurt. It looked like a pimple.
Yeah.
And I sent my sister a picture and she's all, go to the ER.
Yep.
She had, not her, but her ex had it.
Mm-hmm.
On his arm.
Oh yeah, you don't fuck around with that shit.
Go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I went.
That's what I do for a living though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how much he does not believe in what I do, that this is what I'm trained for. This is what I do for a living. Like, skin disease is a huge chapter in our education that we have to know back and front and forward. And the fact that you discredited me and literally looked at me and you know what he said? It's not the same. What you do and what a dermatologist does is not the same. It's above your pay scale. And I'm like, yeah.
We go back to money?
And I looked at him and I'm like, that's really funny because a dermatologist actually doesn't even fucking give two shits about you. You're a file folder. It's really the esthetician and the medical assistant that comes in and really deals with you first and gives their recommendations back to the dermatologist, that the dermatologist comes in and is like, oh yeah, let me check that out. Okay. Right? The dermatologist relies on their estheticians because we are the soldiers in the front. We're the men in the front. And he still discredited me. So the irony of that is that I told him when it first started and he ignored me and ignored me and ignored me. And then look at what happened.
Fuck. Girl, we gonna have to do a part 2.
Right?
We are 3 hours deep.
Oh my God. And you didn't think you were gonna have any content.
I never know what I'm gonna get.
So long story short, shit went down in Catalina, right?
Yeah. Shit went down in
Catalina.
The work.
Shit went down in the workplace.
Shit going down at home. Thank you for coming.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so stoked. I'll have to keep you updated on everything.
Oh, for sure. Communication
and let you know on, all the things, and hopefully there's good things to come and
only good things.
Positive
vibes.
Only good things. I'm hoping that,
we got crystals here too. So
I know. I'm hoping that whatever comes out of everything right, everything. It was supposed to happen. At the end of the day, I truly believe that the universe works in mysterious ways and that it is supposed to happen this way. And if him coming back into my life at this time and my daughter leaving at this time and the whole situation of just shedding light on like, wow, dude, you really don't support me. And like just all the things of cumulative, like what does that look like 6 months from now? Like, what is that going to look like? You know? And
what an exciting time to be.
What exciting time to be. The crazy thing is that this guy also, he was so awful to me that I remember I had told him one time, like, I'm thinking about maybe doing bartending again. Because that's kind of like his wheelhouse, like downtown, scene or whatever. That's kind of like what he does. He doesn't bartend, but he's like in the scene, right? He looked at me point blank and he said, "You'll never make money. You're a mom."
What the fuck?
Yeah. He's like, "You're a mom. Like, you're not young and hot anymore. Like, you're a mom." And I'm like, wow. So the fact that now that I am bartending and I'm making good money and I run the fucking bar, and on top of it, the fact that he's the fucking barber and he's not sitting in this chair with you right now.
I rarely have barbers though. That's hilarious.
Is that not?
On a podcast named Barbershop.
Right? That I'm sure he listens to. If not, I'm sure his coworkers listen to. I'm sure somebody does. And eventually he'll be able to connect the dots. So the dots that I need for him to connect is please don't come at me sideways like how you did in the text message of what you're wearing. What are you wearing? After a year. What are you wearing?
That was that message?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I circled it back. See? Yeah. What are you wearing? A fucking mom outfit. Yeah. So eventually he'll connect the dots. And this is what I say to him. Good sir, do me a favor. Okay?
Right there.
Good sir, do me a favor. Be healed. Be in a good place. Come from a good place. Have good intentions before you come at me. Because if you're not going to come at me the right way, please don't come at me at all. Like,
Period.
I can't.
Period.
I can't.
I defended you, bro, as much as I could.
Right.
As a fellow brethren.
Right.
But
however, we don't tolerate that.
No. Zero. Mm-mm. Tiffany, please give them your Instagram so they can go get their skin routine.
Yes.
Flawless.
Thank you. It's Beautiful Dame Skincare. And there's underscores in between all of them. So
obviously going to tag you. So.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm in SDSU area. So come on through.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
I had a blast.
Oh my God. Yes. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for surprising me.
You're welcome. Surprise.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bill with tits. Until next time, you know the vibe. Jeez.
Yeah. You looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with JONA. We talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you notice how we coming, we in front. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Getting to that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get round. Come on. Been in the field playing.